You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Yes, sir. 41, okay. All right, cool. Possibly the biggest match in the season so far. This one is for the championship for the Pacific Conference. The East Bay Blazers against the Dallas Mustangs. Captains Hamad Azam and Angelo Pereira. Third umpire Owen Brown, who is celebrating a birthday today, by the way. Happy birthday, Owen. 50th. Hamad will spin the toss. Angelo will call. Heads is the call. It is a heads. Angelo, you're nodding furiously. What are you going to do?
We're going to have a bowl first.
Tell me why, as if I don't already know.
Do I have to tell you why? The game's already been delayed because of a wet pitch, so yeah, we'll just try our luck there.
Okay. All the marbles. This one, you had a bit of a tough game yesterday, but you pulled it out in the end with, first of all, aggressive batting towards the back end of your innings, and then Carmelo Rue comes in and cleans up the tail. What are you looking to accomplish today?
To be honest, it would always be sticking to the basics. That's something that we've always done well throughout the season. So we don't want to do anything different. We're just going to play it by ear. We're just going to take it over by over.
Okay, fantastic. Best of luck. All right. Hamad, you're batting first. This will be, by my memory, the second time that I've done your game where you're batting first. How comfortable are you batting first, and is it the case that runs on the board might have something to do with a game of this magnitude?
I mean, like, it's kind of a test as a team. Like, as I say all the time when I talk, like, if you want to be a champion, you can't rely on the toss. These things happen. So, like, and especially it's obviously a semi-final kind of a game. So, if we score, like, good runs on the board, it's going to be pressure to chase. And we have a good bowling lineup as well, yeah.
Fantastic. So, yesterday, you won. By my read of the scorecard, you weren't at your best. What does your best need to look like today?
I mean, like, we need to step up as a batsman. As a batting unit, we really need to step up. And I hope today we're going to do well in the batting because we're doing good in the bowling. So, yeah, we need to play good cricket.
Fantastic. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, the news from the center. The East Bay Blazers have won the toss, and they'll be bowling.
So good morning from Houston, Texas. We want to welcome you to one of the deciding game. This is a Pacific clash between East Bay Blazers and the Dallas Mustangs. In must-win situation for this team if they want to play on Sunday. So that's the Dallas Mustang team. Nauman Anwar and Andres House already in the middle. We've seen the like of Sajid Gowda, Nimbalka, Hamed Azam, the captain, Ali Sheikh, Kenjige, Pawar, Roman Reyes, Isan Adil, and Rochelle Yugarkar. I'm joined with Brian Walters. And Brian Walters, good morning to you. Top squad, big game, deciding one.
This one is effectively for all the marbles because the winner of this game gets a spot in Grand Prairie on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. Dallas, I'm sure, would want to be in Grand Prairie. Of course, Grand Prairie is in the Dallas area. And they're reputed to be the stronger side. A bit of a blow because their captain for most of the season, Corey Anderson, is not available for the rest of the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they can continue being the good team that they are in the absence of such an important player. Nauman Anwar and Andreas Haus starting out generally for the entire season, batting very, very well, setting the table up top. And they were up against a really tough customer here, though, Carmel LaRue.
Yeah, we saw Carmel LaRue yesterday getting a 4-wicket haul, 4 for 13, I think it is, and he will start from the parking lot end and will come in to bowl the first ball. Here he is to Nauman Anwar. And Anwar ball outside the off stump, a big play and a miss. And the ball goes through to Aditya Ganesh. So things are on the way here. East Bay Blazers, we saw them in the last couple of games, Brian. Batting first, they have won the toss, electing to bowl early morning game. Toss is very important.
Toss is very important. The moisture around generally this time of the day in Prairie View. Then the pitch was a little too damp for the liking of the umpires, hence the delayed start. But I think the advantage is going to be to the team batting second. It's going to be up to East Bay Blazers to make that true.
So ball into the offside. That's a lovely shot from Nauman Anwar. Just a push into the onside. And things are on the way here for the Dallas Mustang. 4 off the bat of Nauman Anwar.
What a beautiful shot. No flourish at all. Just a timed on drive. Getting it between the gap between mid-on and mid-wicket. Look at this. Just easing it through that gap. A little too straight for Carmel LaRue, getting it on the pads. He's an in-swinger, bowling it left arm over, swinging it into the right-handers. Maybe starting that one on the stumps, having it swing toward the pads. Meat and drinks for Nauman Anwar.
Yeah, Brian, might have been 3 factors. Would have contributed to that 4. Oh, that's flicked away, but only get a single. And just talking about the prior ball, pace on the ball, fast outfield, and good timing. And so we've seen a lovely shot already from Nauman Anwar. Andres House comes into strike. A man with 501. He's at the top of the heap. He's really had a very good season so far. And he comes in here with meter still running.
Meter is still running. He absolutely has led the batting, particularly in the absence of Corey Anderson. He has been the talisman in the squad. Sets the tone from the top. Tremendous batter, hits with power, but he's not just a power hitter. He's able to play the conventional strokes, but if he needs to clear a big fence, he can absolutely do that. So he will be a key wicket. So it's a South African versus South African matchup. Carmel LaRue versus Andreas Haus.
So he allows the ball to go through, and Brian, we made the point over 500 runs, 501 to be exact. Nitish Kumar just about 477, 478, and Nitish Kumar still have a game to play.
Yep.
So the big race to see who will get the most runs in this year 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship is on. And the man on your screen, Andres House, he's really had a good season, averaging some 48 so far. And he gets a good delivery, gets a single, and things are on the way here for the Dallas Mustangs.
Carmel LaRue, tremendous fast bowler. Quick enough, if not express, then certainly quick enough to trouble batters. But what he does is brings that left arm over the wicket angle into play, where he swings it back into the right-handed batters. And if he starts that ball on the right line, he can be really, really dangerous.
So we saw Dallas Mustang during the course of this season. They've played some 11 games. We'll talk about that when we come back. So the first over comes to a conclusion. And after one is 6 for no loss.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
The new ball to partner Carmi Leroux. And we've seen a very good over for the Dallas Mustangs. So the umpires for the game, Brian Kane out of New York. And of course our good friend Samuel. So Brian Kane being fitted with one of those recording cameras, Brian. So he's all ready to have footage on this game.
Lenny, those things weren't around when you and I were playing. But here we see at square leg, that is Rashane Samuels. Obviously, again, in tournaments of this magnitude, you need to have all the best umpires. Rashane Samuels and Brian Kane certainly qualify as that, as does third umpire Owen Brown, who I said earlier is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Owen Brown. And Rusty Theron pairing up with Carmi Leroux to be the former South African opening bowling lineup. Right arm over the wicket, coming into bowl to Andreas Kraus.
So ball into the onside. Rusty Theron, 9 wickets in the season so far. We saw Carmi Leroux, also 9 wickets in the season. Sanjay Krishnamurti, whom we will see a little bit later on. He's at the top of the heap here for the East Bay Blazers. He's up on 18 wickets. So I've already mentioned 3 of the bowlers to be used here. And then, of course, we've seen Parrot Carr. Good start here from Rusty Theron so far. Ball into the offside and can't score. So a couple of good balls from Rusty Theron. Every ball, dot balls are very important in this format, Brian.
Dot balls are important. The Dallas Mustangs will not care, I don't think, if they absorb a couple of dot balls, even if they absorb a maiden, because they have a very deep batting lineup. They keep wickets in hand. They can always choose to accelerate. Maybe the strategy is to, take about 30 minutes or so to make sure that the pitch calms down a little bit and then go for the shots.
So ball into the onside, and that's the first run of the over. So to all our viewers, let's go to San Francisco, Brian. Want to say good morning to everyone listening from that area. They're 2 hours behind. And so want to say good morning to all our listeners following from the West Coast. And you're following this because this is a Pacific matchup. East Bay Blazers and Dallas Mustangs. They've played impressively well with 2 wins so far. Similar record. And one of the reasons, Brian, we have playoffs is to really decide when teams have done the same thing in terms of result.
Well, it's the business end of the tournament. We said that a few times yesterday. So much riding on this game.
Oh, what a delivery here from Rusty Theron. Climbed and just rushed past the helmet of Nauman Anwar. Brilliant ball.
It's a brilliant ball. Both batters looking quizzically at the pitch. Mentioned that the game was delayed just a little bit because of a bit of a wet pitch. With a wet pitch, you expect some uneven bounce, and this one absolutely taking off from a length. You see the reaction there by Nauman Anwar, which is why I suggested earlier they may just take some time, with the sun beating down and a bit of breeze blowing, the breeze coming in from the southeast here in Houston or in the Houston area. Pitch will definitely be better for batting a little bit later on in the day. And certainly they take some time to get settled, then that makes it better for them later on in this innings.
Yes, Brian, you're right on that. We saw East Bay Blazers batting first in 2 days of cricket. But today they have opted to chase. And of course, early morning, you're playing one of the early games. Moisture of the pitch comes into the equation, whether you bat or bowl. And they've made the choice to chase. Oh, very good delivery. What an over we've seen here from Rusty Theron. It comes to an end. 1 off the over. And after 2 is 7 for no loss.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Carmel Leroux will continue. 7 for no loss. We've seen a couple of overs. And a play and a miss here from Andres House. So the bowling has been pretty good here, Brian. 2.1, 7 on the board.
Good economical start by both of these fast bowlers. Carmel Leroux maybe just getting one ball too straight in his first over, got punched away for 4. But apart from that, everything else has been spot on. And as I suggested, it may be intentional that these two batters take some time to get going. Because to the extent that you have a deep batting lineup, after this is going to be Sujit Gowda, then you have batters like Hamad Azam, you have tremendous power coming down the lineup. So the idea, if you're constructing this innings, if you're Dallas, is to keep wickets in hand, score, relatively moderately to quickly, but you can explode towards the back end because you have that kind of firepower.
So big Todd onto the tie pad, and Brian, let's talk a little bit about the toss in the early morning game. There's always the reluctancy of captains to not bat first. They probably want to bowl. They probably want to bat last, as we saw from Angelo Pereira and the boys from East Bay.
Yep. That's the case, again, because of the thought that the pitch is going to be better for batting later on. But I'll say one more thing after this ball.
All the way. That's a lovely shot from Andres House. And it goes far, and it's gone the distance.
Andreas House loves them short. This one knocked in short by Carmel Leroux. Genuine bouncer, but how quick was Andreas House to read the length of this pitch, of this delivery rather, and pouncing on it. A huge strike. Again, you're sort of expecting some difficulty up front with the pitch having been wet, but he was all over this ball and spanking it, absolutely nailing that one over backward square leg for 6.
It's a lovely shot from Andres House.
So as I started to say, the conventional thinking would be a little bit of moisture around, maybe we bat second. Pitch will be better for batting later on. But don't discount the fact that this is effectively like a semifinal. And to the extent that we have a semifinal, runs on the board becomes a big factor when the team is chasing. So team is chasing, let's say Dallas bats first and they score 145. 145 by most accounts is sort of a middling, maybe right around par score. But 145 in a match of this magnitude can be effectively similar to 165 or 170 in a league stages match because of the additional pressure.
So a bit of hold up as the ball would have gone very far into another enclosure, Brian. And that challenges the man retrieving the ball, his fence climbing ability. But he's done well.
He has done well. I would suggest that Carmel Leroux is going to pitch this next one up.
So we've seen a couple of wins from the Mustangs side. And this one into the onside, they'll go through for 1. So Brian, we have seen the Dallas Mustang team wins over Lone Star, and then of course win over Silicon Valley Strikers. Stuff. They have really taken out 2 big teams in this phase of the tournament.
They have indeed. Now, if you ask which is of their opponents, which has been the strongest, my argument would be that it is the Dallas Mustangs.
So Nauman Anwar into the offside, could pick up a couple of runs here. In fact, no, they'll settle for 1. Good work from, it looks like Krishnamurti.
Yep.
And so the third over comes to an end, is 15 without loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So 15 on the board, 3 overs gone. They're going at 5 and over. Tehran will continue. Saw a very cheap over from Rusty Tehran in his first, only conceding 1 run. And we've seen Nauman Anwar being among the runs, Brian, 286 coming in to this match.
Nauman Anwar talked about the fact that this pair usually sets things up at the top. Both of them bat very well. Nauman Anwar this year, I don't think, has scored the type of runs that he's capable of. Obviously a very capable batter. Played in the major leagues. And he is the kind of batter who can get stuck in.
So into the offside, we saw in the first over of the game a wristful shot that raced away for 4. And Brian, if you were the captain of this fielding side, what would you love to see from your 2 fast bowler at the top of the order? A couple of wickets in the power play?
You certainly need wickets, and I'll say more after this delivery from Rusty Tehran, because that's a really important calculus for the East Bay Blazers.
Pulled away. That's a lovely shot from a poor delivery from Rusty Tehran. And that has gone upstairs. That's gone for 6.
Yeah, I think you'll see here on the replay that this one is going down the leg side. The fielder in the deep on the leg side is at square leg. So anything that goes behind square essentially is a safe shot. And there you see, yeah, definitely going down the leg side. That would have been 35 or so yards away from that fielder at backward square leg. So easy runs here for Nauman Anwar. Back to the statement about taking wickets. You have to take wickets. Number one, because it slows the scoring rate down. But number two, it means that if you don't take wickets, then the batters who come in later on, the big hitters, can play more freely. And that's what you don't want if you're the East Bay Blazers.
So both batters have found shots over the ropes. Couple of runs there for Nauman Anwar. The running has been good so far. And it's good to see Nauman Anwar still in the power plays, being able to put the ball into gaps, be able to come back for a couple of runs. We've seen 8 runs in this over so far from Rusty Tehran, and they're off to a good start. They're 23 on the board. Into the onside, looking for another couple of runs. This time fielder will come around, and so the strike goes over to Andre's house. 9 in the over. This is a very good over for the Mustangs.
Certainly a better over for them from Rusty Tehran's second over than from the first. The first, they only conceded 1 run, 9 already in this one with 1 ball still to come. So it's going to be interesting. I mentioned Nauman Anwar. So far in the regular season, before the playoffs started, he had 234 runs at an average of 23. So he's a better batter than that with a strike rate of 111. But don't let those numbers fool you. He's a much better batter than that.
So ball peels off the outside edge, will complete over number 4. So 4 gone is 24 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Abhishek Paratkar comes into the attack here, 4 gone. And they're going at exactly 6 runs and over, 24 for no loss. And it's interesting, Brian, that Abhishek Paratkar comes in and has been left in the side. We saw a couple of days ago, Mohammed Katawazai was struck on the helmet, and He was replaced by Abhishek Paradkar. And the opportunity presented itself, and he stayed in the side for the last 2 days.
Well, not exactly a like-for-like replacement with Carmelo Rue, but he is a left-hander, so he does have the same advantage of being able to bowl over the wicket, have that ball swinging back into the righties.
It's the ball driven into the offside, and Brian, when you look at this Dallas Mustangs team, they're a new team on the block. Came in 2022, and this is their second year.
Well, they were before the Irving Mustangs, so it's essentially the same. Irving is
the brand,
a city just outside of Dallas. So it's essentially from the same area and with the same principles in place. So not necessarily new from that standpoint, but to the extent that you have a different name, same basic core of players, and a truly well-run organization. From that standpoint, I think you have a lot of advantages. And of course, they play their home games at the fabulous Grand Prairie Stadium just outside of Dallas. So a lot going for this team. You know that there's pressure on them because they want to go home and play in the finals in front of their home fans. So that's something that they'll be thinking about as well.
And Brian, when you look at the East Bay Blazers, they've played all their games here. We saw them on Wednesday, we saw them Thursday, and they returned for the morning game here. And it's the first time we're seeing the Mustangs here. So is home advantage something in this country?
Home advantage would apply very much in this instance because East Bay guys, temperature is probably 30 degrees hotter here than it is on the West Coast. So from that standpoint, yes.
So we've seen a good over so far from Abhishek Paradkar. He's really kept the ball on one side of the pitch. We saw a ball in this over that has gone down the leg side for a wide, but other than that, this has been a quiet over so far. But with 3 balls to go, Brian, so much can happen.
If you are Dallas, this is going in your favor. You're down to the last 93 balls of the inning. So you're constricting the length of time that the batters have to bat, which means that they get to have more freedom and be more expressive. Another one going down the leg side. Roshane Samuels saying you'll have to re-bowl that one. But again, I think the key for the Dallas side is that even though, yes, conditions are a little bit tricky up front, they've actually started out well, scoring exactly at a run a ball right now. In fact, with that wide, they're scoring at slightly above a run a ball, 6.22 runs and over. As long as they stay within that range with wickets in hand, then the Bombers come later and things could potentially get out of control for East Bay.
So for the so many following this game, many already know the matchup on this one. The winner will get a chance to play in the championship game. This is the Pacific decider. And both teams have done well. Similar record, 2 wins in their couple of games. We saw East Bay Blazers getting the best of Silicon Valley Strikers and of course Lone Star yesterday. And so what a contest we have in front of us. Not timed well here from Andres House. And we've seen an over so far that has gone for 5. Not bad here from Paradkar.
Not at all. Bowling inside the power play. Again, not exactly the type of bowler that Carmelo Rue is, but he's left-handed and he's generally stuck to the right lines. And his length is on the fuller side. At his pace, you don't ever want to bowl short because both of these batters will be murderous on you if you bowl short. But bowling the right lines and surely keeping that ball on the fuller length, 5 runs from the over with 1 ball to come.
So quality over comes to an end. An over that only conceded 5 runs, 5 gone is 29 for no loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So Sanjay Krishnamurti comes into the attack, Brian. He's been their best bowler so far, with some 18 wickets in this series. Quality leg spinner is he.
Well, left-hander or left-armer spins it orthodox, so in the context that it's a leg spinner, it's spinning from leg to off for the right-handers. Nauman Anwar, of course, we're in the last over of the power plays, so still only 2 allowed outside the circle. Not surprising that those 2 are down at deep mid-wicket and long on. Any shots that are going to be in that direction will be into the wind, though. I mentioned the wind blowing strongly now from the southeast. So from your screen, it's coming in from right to left. So anything that is elevated in that direction, for example, if it is pulled in the air to the onside, to your right, that will be into the wind. So that's something to consider, because this wind is a little bit windier today than it's been for the entire week.
And Brian, you gotta love the captaincy here of Angelo Pereira. He probably could have waited 1 over longer to allow Sanjay Krishnamurti to bowl with a little bit more deep field.
Yep.
With at least more than 2 players outside of the 30-yard circle, but he has given him the chance to really bowl that 1 over in this power play. Oh, he hasn't gone well. Short and pummeled. Straight down the ground from Nauman Anwar. And that has gone for a massive 6.
A massive 6. Unfortunately, we may have a delay here because that ball is almost onto highway 290 in the distance. Boy, 290 is the highway connecting Houston and Austin. That ball probably lands 90 yards away from where it was struck, from around the wicket, but he pulls it down. A little bit of turn, but turn doesn't matter if it's going to be that short, because then that ball sits up and begs to be whacked. And Nauman Anwar only too happy to oblige. A huge hit, and again a bit of a delay because we may have trouble retrieving this ball.
Yeah, and now the match officials will have to come up with a ball that is 5.3
overs old. That is never easy. Absolutely never easy. For those of you who don't know the rules, if the ball is cannot be retrieved, then the replacement ball has to be one that is as close as possible in terms of condition and condition of wear to the ball that was lost. And in fact, look at that. The ball was actually found. So no reason to have to try to find a ball that is 5.3 overs old, any.
And Brian, the wrist, we saw an individual who went to retrieve the ball, and he was so far away from the playing field that he had to throw the ball so far. And have you seen sometimes when you try to retrieve the ball and throw it back, sometimes you throw it into an area that you need another searching to happen, eh?
Look at this replay again. So Krishnamurti landing this one too short. Some turn. There was definitely turn on offer, but you have to be much fuller than that, Sanjay Krishnamurti, to be able to have that turn be a factor. No slip fielders in position. And again, the fielders who are in the deep are at long on and mid wicket, so you want that ball fuller. There's a better length played off the back foot toward backward point for no run.
So an over's gone for 6. We've seen a massive strike from Nauman Anwar. And both him and Gauss have really given them a solid start. 35 on the board. Krishnamurti gets an early ball, 1 in the power play.
Good couple deliveries after the one that went for 6. He's bowling a fuller length, and he knows that he needs to bowl a fuller length. As a spinner, that's exactly what you want to be doing. And he's made the adjustment, young Sanjay Krishnamurti, the U21 player. Not surprising that he's able to make that adjustment.
Ooh. So pulled away into the long on area. Fielder will come around, will not get to the ball. And we'll wait for confirmation. And that has gone away for 4. So 10 runs in that over. Couple of big strikes off the bat of Nauman Anwar. And so the power play done. 6 gone is 39 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 6 gone is 39 for no loss. Seen a couple of big shots in the previous over. And you get the feeling now, Brian, it's always a nervous period in the first 6 in a T20 game, and you get the feeling Angelo Pereira could be a little bit more relaxed now, knowing that he has a little bit more options to get outside of the 30-yard circle. Parrot Car continues.
I don't know necessarily that he's relaxed, because he won the toss and said very clearly that he wanted to bowl first because he wanted to take advantage of the moisture in the wicket. So when you do that, when you make that decision, you're looking to take advantage. You're wanting to take wickets early. So the fact that they've gotten through the power play, Andreas House and Nauman Anwar, not only having not lost a wicket, but with 39 runs on the board, scoring at the rate of 6.5 runs and over, that essentially becomes a much bigger benefit for the Dallas Mustangs. So Angelo Pereira will be concerned that he was not able to take any wickets.
So we've seen a good start from Anwar and House. Abhishek Paratkar tidy first over, and over the just went for 5 inside of the power plays. And Brian, couple of other big games on today. Atlanta Fire with a couple of wins. Similar situations with the East Bay Blazers and Dallas Mustang. Has a very important fixture. And then we'll have to wait and see what happens after that. But 40 for none here.
Well, forgive me for saying this another time. The fact that no wickets have fallen yet, this is getting us into the stage of the innings where the Dallas Mustangs tended to accelerate very quickly. And Andreas House, 11 from 16, is probably still in second gear. Nauman Anwar, a little bit more enterprising, 27 from 23, but both of these batters more than capable of taking the game away from the opposition.
So cut away, lovely shot from Nauman Anwar using the pace of the ball. And that has gone away for 4. Lovely shot from Nauman Anwar.
That is exactly what he did. That was not a flourish. That was not a big cut shot. He literally just guided that, intentionally guiding it fine and piercing that gap between cover and backward point. Here you see him just running that ball off the face, and he knows that once he gets it fine of that fielder at backward point, it is going to run away for 4. Really intentional looking shot, and he has the power game definitely, but he also does have that touch and that placement that will score those types of boundaries.
So we've seen 3 6s and 3 4s so far. And Brian, you get the feeling that this Dallas Mustangs team has really brought up 44 on the board. You look at the card, it's 44 on the board because they've really struck boundaries almost every over.
Good short ball here. I didn't know that he had this in his arsenal, Abhishek Paradkar. Typically, you'd expect him to be more the line and length type of bowler, but he dug that one in short. I think that surprised Nauman Anwar. Struck him on the inside or the underside of the right elbow. Something to pay attention to there.
So ball eased into the offside. That will complete 7. So 7 gone is 45 without loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So 7 gone, 45 for no loss. Chandan Rizwan comes into the comes into the bowling attack. Brian, a player who has represented the United Arab Emirates at the associate level, in fact at the international level. And so he comes in here with 45 on the board. Ball punched into the offside, and things are on the way here in the 8th over. So we made mention, Brian, East Bay Blazers and Dallas Mustangs with a couple of wins. Another team in this competition, the Atlanta Fire, with 2 wins. And they will come up later on in the afternoon against the Somerset Cavaliers. It'll be an easy path if Fire wins, no problems there at all. But if Cavaliers win, there's going to be some calculations needs to be done. I know we were looking at a possibility if that happens, Brian.
Yep.
Ball cut away into the offside. Fielder comes around, David White, and a bit of fumbling, allowing the batter to come back for a couple of runs. Good alert running.
You took the words out of my mouth. The fact that David White fumbled the ball on the boundary, sweeping in the covers, meant that they were able to come back for that second run. So again, you can score quickly just by being alert and running hard between the wickets. Both of these batters, maybe Nauman Anwar is in, let's say, 3rd gear. Andreas House still in 2nd gear, maybe. They both are able to cut loose. Oh my goodness. That is the type of delivery that Andreas House normally hits into the forest. I am shocked that he did not pounce all over that one, choosing just to work it down the ground. It was genuinely a short delivery, landing probably, I would say, a good 5 or so yards away from the batter, choosing just to work it down the ground for 1.
Yeah, Brian, you're right on that. He has allowed a long hop to really go past. 49 on the board, so that's another slower delivery. There's a big appeal. Brian Kane says not out. And play will continue. 49 for none.
Yeah, this one for me is going to be bouncing over the top. Hard for us to see from where we are square of the wicket what the line was, but there's no question that's bouncing over. So Brian Kane, I think, makes the good decision there.
So they're on the verge of getting to a half century, and that 50 could come up in the 8th over. They're going a 6.3 for the time being. We've seen an excellent knock from both of the batters out in the middle. He allows the ball, so that brings up the 50, Brian, and it comes in the 8th over by a wide.
50. Again, this is shaping up to be exactly the type of innings that the Dallas Mustangs want. And look to see how they can capitalize from here. This is really interesting to me because, of course, Rizwan is a very effective bowler, but he's a bit unorthodox. The way that he releases that ball looks a little bit, maybe a little bit unorthodox, and he has a bit of a delivery that maybe throws the batter off. It doesn't come through with the same amount of timing that you'd ordinarily see a spinner. So he can be a little bit tricky to read. But I will tell you this, if he drops another one short to Andreas House, I don't think he's just going to tap this one back down the ground for a single.
So 6 runs off this over. Not a bad one here from Rizwan. Ball chopped into the offside, so that will complete a good over here from Rizwan. 8 gone is 51 for no loss.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Angelo Pereira comes in to the bowling attack, Brian. 51 on the board. A good start here from the Dallas Mustangs. And Brian,
captain brings himself on. You saw spin really work wonders yesterday in pulling back the Lone Star Athletics in their game. Angelo Pereira looking to essentially replicate the same sort of scenario here.
and the Mustangs will be quite happy with this start. 51 on the board. We saw on this ground from Wednesday, we've seen 165 scored yesterday. We saw 151 the previous day. And so you get the sense anything around 160 and upwards, Brian, is going to be a score on this ground.
I would say that's accurate. I would also say that 10 wickets in hand for the Dallas Mustangs with 71 balls to go feels like they'll be looking for something more than 160.
So into the offside, that's a good looking strike from Nauman Anwar. The fielder cannot come around in time. And so that's another boundary, this time off the bat of Nauman Anwar is 55 for none.
38 of 31 balls now for Nauman Anwar. Look at this, striking it, not over hitting the ball, just getting it up and over the top of extra cover. And I think the sin that was committed that time by Angelo Pereira was that he tossed it too wide, and it was on a length that allowed Nauman Anwar to just play it through the line, play it with the turn, getting it over the top of that man at cover before.
And Brian, we made mention of these two teams having won 2 games, Atlanta Fire with a couple of games. What will happen just in case if Cavaliers can get a win against the Fire later on?
Cavaliers win, then that would mean that there would be a tie with Atlanta. They're playing the
Fire.
There would be a tie with the Atlanta Fire and the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. If that's the case, and assuming that there's not a big swing in the net run rate calculations, oh my goodness, we'll get back to that thought because Andreas Haus just lost his middle stump. Looking to swing for the fences. I mentioned that he was in second gear, looking to shift through the gears, but choosing to play across a straight one. By definition, it was dead straight because it knocked out middle stump. So he will not want to go back to the locker room and see that type of delivery or the replay, because he goes to play that to mid-wicket. That one is one he wants to play in the V, playing it to mid-wicket across the line. And there you see the frustration. Look at him when he's walking off after this. Look again, dead straight, and look at his reaction right now. Just there. Oh, cannot believe I just went across a straight ball. And that is the first wicket that goes down. The Dallas Mustangs have lost their first wicket. The talismanic opener, Andreas Haus, disappears. 56 for 1. So back to the conversation. Unless there's a big swing in net run rate calculations, as of right now, the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers have a net run rate of 2.4207. The Atlanta Fire have a net run rate of 0.6047. If they end up with the same record, then the next tiebreaker would be the net run rate. And again, unless there's a really big swing one way or the other by the results of the first game, then it would mean that the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers would be the ones punching their ticket for Grand Prairie on Sunday afternoon.
So Sujat Gowda comes to the middle, big start. Came to an end. Angelo Pereira taking out Andres Haus with a quality delivery on the middle stump, knocked it back and sends Haus packing.
Haus packing, really?
So it's 100, it's 56 for 1. And we've seen Sajid Gowda, Brian Walters, 211 runs this season so far. And so the 9th over comes to a close, is 56 for 1. So Rizwan will continue. Bowled a very good over in the last one. Just conceded 6 runs. Brian Walters, not easy to hit these delivery that's given a lot of air sometimes. They look easy, but still some mystery in them.
Like I said, he's an unorthodox bowler, so he can be difficult to time. And that ball is floating up there probably 40 miles an hour. So you're waiting for it to get to you, waiting, and it eventually gets there. So I don't mind these two batters, particularly now Sujit Gowda, taking some time to make sure that you are able to read him before you start going for shots. Sujit Gowda, slow start to the season at one point. In fact, about a month or 3 weeks ago, he had a total number of runs for the season of less than 50. But he's really come on in recent weeks. And I think is now showing the type of batter that he is. So if you look at the total number of runs that he's had, not counting the playoffs, just looking at what he's done through the year so far, Sujit Gowda has 133. But again, the majority of those have come in the last couple of weeks.
So ball cut away into the offside. And Brian, when you look at Rizwan, the kind of pace you made mention, 40 miles an hour, that's pretty slow. But as a batter, if you want to really get a good hit on that ball, you'll have to generate your own pace. It's not coming from Rizwan.
That is exactly right. And I think the reason why they have brought Rizwan on from this end again is that stiff wind that is coming in from the southeast. So if Nauman Anwar elevates the ball to his right, if he pulls it, then it's the type of direction that will hit the ball directly into the wind. And again, you can feel it, Lenny. It's much more windy today than it's been the entire week. And that certainly would have factored into the thinking for Angelo Pereira.
And Brian, when you look at Rizwan, he's not afraid to really give the ball flight. He knows he's bowling slow and he's using that to real great
Yes.
advantage.
Yes.
You mentioned the wind, that's where the little drift comes in.
Yep.
Oh, looking to cut through the offside, doesn't go too well from Sujit Gowda. So he's had to really contend with some very good bowling here from Rizwan. Rizwan has only conceded 3 in this over. This has been a quality one from him so far.
Quality. So just got to taking the chance going back to a full ball, which you don't ever want to do. Gets away with it though. Ball was not on the stumps.
So that should have been the ball. If you wanted to punish a bad ball, that should have been it. But it has not happened. So 10 gone, 60 for 1.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So the halfway stage has arrived. 10 overs gone, Brian. 60 for 1. And Brian, just let's talk about Rizwan bowling so far. And I'll ask you a question. Would you prefer batting a bowler bowling 85 miles an hour than facing Rizwan?
Lenny, in Jamaica, we say a bowler who bowls spin is a bowler who can't bowl fast, because we love fast bowling and we hate spin bowling. And so I always prefer to have that ball coming onto the bat as this is struck straight down the ground for a single. So if you're asking my preference, I want the ball coming onto the bat. Number one, it's easier to sort of get inside the line, play your little deflections, but then for your power strokes, the pace is coming from the ball itself as opposed to you having to create your own pace. That does make a difference.
And you look at Angelo Pereira, he bowls with a lot more pace. Still a left arm spinner, and here he is. And ball chopped into the offside. They're gonna go through for once, a couple of runs in this over. And you get the feeling, Brian, East Bay Blazers have really pulled this game back. We've seen the departure of Andres House. He came and went quickly for 14. But Nauman Anwar is there. We saw his hitting ability. But they've been held up here by Rizwan, and now Angelo Pereira has bowled a quality first over. In fact, it was Angelo Pereira who took out House.
Yep.
Ball worked into the onside, so we come down to the last 57 balls. Still a lot of batting to come.
Still a lot of batting to come. Interestingly, they're scoring exactly at a run a ball. They have faced 63 balls. They have 63 runs. So with 9 wickets still in hand, Andreas House will not want to have been out, but the reality is that most of the team is still to come. So in 57 balls, you have 9 wickets. That allows you to start being a little bit more enterprising, particularly Nauman Anwar.
And Brian, we made the point that East Bay Blazers have played here 3 days in a row, this being their third. They batted first on both occasions. On Wednesday, we saw them getting 151. Yesterday, we saw them getting 165. They'll chase today. What's the kind of score that the East Bay Blazers will be hoping for? Maybe something 140, 150?
They will be happy. They would be ecstatic to only be chasing 140, 150. And if you turn that question around, this is hammered straight down the ground for 4, is it? Nope. Fielded down there at long off. Make that long on. Good piece of fielding to keep the score, keep the run to just 1 single. If you ask the Dallas Mustangs from right here, where would you want to end up? They're scoring, again, exactly at the rate of a run a ball. They've gotten to 64, and they've faced 64 balls. In fact, 65 from 65 balls. This may be another single, and it will be another single. So they're scoring exactly at the rate of a run a ball. We'll go through some of the potential projections after a quick break, because this is where the game gets interesting.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Lenny, talking about projections. Exactly 66 balls have been bowled, and the score is 66 for 1. So you're scoring exactly at the rate of a run a ball. 7 runs and over from here gets you to 129. 8 gets you to 138. 10 gets you to 156. I would think with the strength of this batting lineup and only 54 more balls to come, a minimum would be around 10 and over that they would be looking for. So I think if you're Dallas, you're not going to be satisfied with anything under that 155, 156 mark.
So full toss, hammered, and that goes straight down the ground. And that has gone for a big 6. That brings up a 50 here for Nauman Anwar. So he goes up to 50. 72 for 1. His 50 comes in fine style.
We talked about how unorthodox but effective Rizwan's deliveries were. But this one is just floated up there at 40 miles an hour and a full toss. Look at this. Floated up there, and it is banged down the ground. And boy, Nauman Anwar, if he knew that he only needed 1 stroke to get to 50, that would have been the type of delivery that he would want to have received. And he gives it the full treatment. Another big 6.
So Nauman Anwar, 39 ball 50. 3 6s and 4 4s. And Brian,
interesting, because 4 4s have been struck. 4 4s and 4 6s have been struck for the day. Of all of those, with the exception of 1 6, have been by Nauman Anwar.
You're right on that. We would have seen a 6 off the bat of Andres House. But Brian, just coming back here to Rizwan, we know you coming into this over, he's bowling economy about 5 runs and over. But every over that he bowled, hasn't he given you a loose one that should have been put away?
Talked about that one short one to Andreas House that I was surprised did not end up in the forest over east of the ground. I'm absolutely shocked that he didn't play that one there. There was that one short ball to Sujit Gowda. Stayed a little low, and he was able to pull it to mid-wicket. But yes, you're absolutely right. It's almost like every single over there is a ball that he's giving you to hit. So 5 out of 6 of the deliveries so far have been relatively in the same area, just short of driving length. But that one loose delivery per over is what has caused a problem for him so far.
So 50 to Nauman Anwar. Quality knock so far. The Rizwan will continue.
Interesting change now, going around the wicket, trying to cut off that angle, trying to take away that power stroke for Nauman Anwar.
So ball into the offside, so that tidy bowling starts starts again from Rizwan.
Yep.
And ask almost any batter in the world, Brian, they'll tell you how annoying it is to face balls with no pace at all. And it really emphasizes what really goes into spin. What is the effectiveness of spin? And more importantly, what's the pace of spin? This one into the onside, running quickly. They'll come back for a couple of runs. And look at that, very good running here from Anwar and Gowda.
That is great running immediately. I would credit that to Sujit Gowda. He's the one who took off sprinting and called for that second run immediately once he saw that opportunity. Ball was not hit very hard. The stroke right there on the onside, and knowing that the bowler had some room to go, and then also that long on had a long way to come in, noticing that there was always going to be an opportunity for a second run. So this is good, aggressive running between the wickets for the Dallas Mustangs. Again, they can score quickly. When I say they score quickly, usually it's through big hitting, but they can also do it with quick running between the wickets.
So 8 in this over so far, the most expensive over here from Rizwan. Is that the one we were talking about? It's gone for a wide, but still short.
I tell you what, it is a wide. He's lucky it wasn't a no ball. That came very close to pitching entirely off the pitch. Look at this. Here's a replay. Boy, this is a filthy delivery, I have to say. Real drag. Okay, not exactly close to pitching off the pitch, but it pitched closer to Rizwan himself than to Nauman Anwar.
And it's surprising, Brian, that sometimes batters will allow a ball to go through for wide, just wanting to earn that one with a rebowl, but their other batters will chase after that one being so short.
Yep.
So this one into the onside. We've seen an over that has gone for 10 so far.
So at the toss, Captain Hamad Azam was saying that he wanted his batters to take more responsibility and take the game deep, I think is what he meant. And I think he didn't say the names, but I think he might have been referring to Nauman Anwar and Andreas Gauss. Andreas is already finished, but Nauman Anwar seems to have taken that lesson to heart, because he's batting within himself, and even with 53 against his name, not taking any chances, at least not yet.
So a couple of balls remaining, 10 runs in this over so far. Rizwan has gone for his most expensive over in the spell. And look at that, tossed up. He's not afraid to do that. And to great effect. So Nauman Anwar comes back into strike. We saw quality 50 from this man so far.
Yeah, so I suggested an average of 23 did not sort of allow him to put forth what type of batter he is. He's a much better batter than a 23 average would suggest, and has gotten himself in 53 from 42, looking to push on.
So ball into the onside, they're running quickly, looking for a couple of runs. Krishnamurti comes in, has to charge the ball, but in the end, 12 gone is 78 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So Krishnamurti comes back into the attack, Brian. 1 over towards the end of the power play from Krishnamurti, gone for 10. And he comes back here with 48 balls remaining with lots of wicket in hand, Brian. And they're going at 6.5 runs and over. Chance for them to up the scoring.
Yes. And we've spoken a couple of times about the wind. This time the wind is going to be helping the big shots into the leg side. So I would not be surprised to see either Sujit Gowda or Nauman Anwar take on Sanjay Krishnamurthy, hitting it in this direction with the wind. So again, on your screen now from from left to right, that wind would help that delivery that is elevated. But if you do that, you'd be hitting across the spin for the left-hander. So that's something to pay attention to as well.
So into the hands of Carmi Leroux, and Sujit Gowda is gone, 79 for 2.
He did the exact same thing that I was just suggesting, but did not get a hold of it. And the very last thing I said before that ball was that it is the left-hand spinner. So he's spinning it away from the right-handed batters. So that is an element also that could potentially have changed the trajectory of that shot. So here we see from around the wicket, spearing it in. You see him skipping down the track, almost like a premeditated shot, because he was nowhere near that ball to be able to play that shot. It's almost like he decided ahead of time that he wanted to play that shot, ended up picking the wrong ball to try to attack and presenting a simple catch to Carmi Leroux in the deep. So the second wicket goes down. Something to pay attention to, because look who is walking in now. This is the captain, Hamad Azam. Hamad Azam is, if you've never seen him play before, a really big hitter. Was the most valuable player in the minor leagues from memory a couple of years ago. And I would imagine that he's the type of player who, once he gets a little bit of time to get settled, can really make that scoreboard tick over. Saw a match in Dallas in Grand Prairie a couple weekends ago, where in over number 19, Hamad Azam took 30 runs off of the bowler bowling that 19th over. So he's a tremendous striker of the ball, and I think he's promoted himself in this situation to be able to effectuate a faster scoring rate.
So we've seen a wicket from Krishnamurthy. We've seen one from Angelo Pereira. Hamad Azam comes to the middle, 46 balls remaining. And they'll have to make a push here, irrespective of how risky it can be. This one into the onside, so he gets off the mark quite quickly. And they're catching from East Bay since yesterday, Brian. We've seen them, good fielding team. They don't drop too many. In fact, we haven't seen a drop catch yesterday in their game. And the likes of Carmi Leroux, safe pair of hands when the ball goes to them.
Boy, Carmi Leroux, of course, 2 return catches yesterday. One much more spectacular than the other. It was hit and snapped up, took it in his follow-through about 2 or 3 inches off the ground. Tremendous work there.
So ball again into the onside, and Brian, you look at what is happening here. So this is the 13th over. So you'll need 7 after this one. Carmi Leroux, Rusty Tehran, and Paratkar have 2 more to come. So those, I'm pretty sure that's where the 6 and 7 overs will probably form. Krishnamurthy still will have a couple of overs after this one. So many bowling options here for Angelo Pereira. The ball chopped into the offside. Bit of misfield, and they'll go through for 1. Still a very good over here from Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Only 4 in this over, and would have picked up the wicket of Sujit Gowda.
Really top-class bowling. 4 runs with 1 ball to come. So we're down to our last 43 balls. Pay attention here. Again, Sanjay Krishnamurthy bowling well. Oh, this I believe is going to be a bye. You see the signal coming now from umpire Rushane Samuels, and it is indeed a bye. So a single or an extra to close things out here in over number 13. Last 7 to go. The score is 83 for 2.
गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 42 balls to be bowled. Anwar is on 53. Pereira comes into the attack. And into the onside, they scamper through for one. So Brian, 41 balls remaining, 84 on the board. A sense of projection as maybe 130, 140 on the cards here. Hamad Azam.
7 and over from here gets you to 132. My goodness, would they be disappointed with only that?
So
10 and over gets you to 152. Hamad Azam, I think, is not going to take any chances from this end right now, because you've noted, or you would have noticed, that the wind is directly blowing at us right now. I'd say about 20 miles an hour, smashed down the ground for a single. But elevating the ball in the air toward mid-wicket from this end is going to be directly into the wind, and I think, you know, even though there's 8 wickets in hand, you don't want to take a chance and lose another wicket here. You don't want to lose the big hitter, and you don't want to lose the man who has 57 runs against his name.
So we've seen a couple of good overs before this one from Angelo Pereira. First over went for 5, second over went for 6. Has picked up 1 already. And you get the feeling, Brian, that this is setting the stage with Carmelo Rue with 2 to come, Rossi Terron with 2 to come, Parkar with a couple to bowl, Sanjay Krishnamurti with 2 to bowl. So Angelo Pereira is probably going to fill in here and try to space out a couple of overs from himself. Turned away into the onside. They're running quickly. Good running in the end. And if you're not going for boundaries here, I think Angelo Pereira will be quite happy with the way things have gone.
I think you're exactly right. That scoring rate now down to 6.37. So there's no question that they've pulled things back. And a couple of wickets that just, you get the sense, just the time that the Dallas Mustangs were looking to accelerate. So timely wickets has contributed in slowing the scoring rate down is what I'm struggling to say, but that doesn't slow the scoring rate down. That is 6 over long on. A big strike again by Nauman Anwar. That is a brilliant looking strike, and he gets up to now 70. Make that 64 from 49.
Yeah, big strike from Nauman Anwar. He's a powerful hitter of the ball. And look at that, timed it well and struck it a long way. And Brian, we've seen a lot of ball go in that direction.
Yes.
The preferred plays these days. So 93 for 2, 10 runs in this over, and we've got 37 balls remaining.
So it's important, as I keep saying, that ball was struck well. It was struck firmly, and so even though it is a little bit, maybe not directly into the wind, but the wind would have had some effect of slowing it down, but it didn't matter because of how cleanly it was struck by Nauman Anwar. My sense is that, I think you're just exactly right, calling the names of the bowlers who are coming in next. Carmelo Rue, I would think, would be coming in to start the ball the next over, because you want at this stage to limit the acceleration that you sense the Dallas Mustangs are starting to think that they can effectuate.
So final ball in this over. We've seen an excellent knock so far from Nauman Anwar. Got off to a good start with Andres House. Put on 56 for wicket number 1. Into the offside. Goes up to David White. And that will complete the 14th over. 14 gone. Mustangs haven't been sent in. They're batting at 94 for 2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So 94 for 2, 6 overs remaining. Krishnamurti will continue.
Well, that shows how much I know, Lenny, because I was sure they'd go back to Carmelo Rue, because you're getting to the stage in the innings, the last 36 balls, and both of these batters are looking to accelerate. I thought they'd bring Carmelo Rue, but they stay with the left-handed spinner. And there's 6. Well, I'm telling you that this is why I thought it would be important to bring back your strike bowler here, because both of these batters are going to be looking to attack. You're only now down to your last 35 balls. There are 6 wickets in hand. In fact, that stroke bringing up the 100. 8 wickets in hand, my apologies. That stroke bringing up the 100 there you see on the replay, dragging it from an off-stump line and hitting it well and truly over and wide up long on for yet another 6. 6 sixes have been struck in this inning so far, 5 of them off of the bat of Nauman Anwar. He's up to 71 from 51.
So the 100 comes up in the 15th over. We saw the first 50 coming off just about the 8th or 9th over around that period. And Brian, when you look at some of the tall scores during the course of this championship, Nitish Kumar with the only centurion so far. Oh, that's a big strike from Nauman Anwar. He picked it up sweetly. And that has gone over the head of Carmi LaRue. That's gone for 6.
Yet another 6. And again, hitting in the air from this direction. The ball is aided by the wind. So the fact that it went as high as it did, it wasn't exactly a clean strike, but the fact that it went as high as it did means that the wind helped it. And right now in front of us here, a few yards away from us, you see Carmi LaRue warming up.
So a couple of 6s in this over, separated by 1 dot ball. And he goes into the onside. Has he found the gap? Yes, he has, in front of Carmi LaRue. And so Nauman Anwar has upped the ante here. And we've seen 16 in 3 balls.
That's 16 in actually 4 balls with a 1 dot ball in the middle of that. But I will tell you that you're at the stage of the innings. You're now down to the last 32 balls, 8 wickets in hand. There is nothing to hold back for here. And Nauman Anwar has shifted completely through the gears into 5th gear. I don't think he'll be thinking about his 100, but he will be thinking about scoring quickly.
So ball into the offside. We saw Nitish Kumar, the only centurion, 103. We saw Shayan Jahangir getting a 98. Corey Anderson, a 95. Andres House, a 91. And Dilpreet Singh, 91. Anwar is on 81 for the time being. He has really turned it on in this over against Sanjay Krishnamurti. So the 15th over comes to a close. It's 111 for 2.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Parrot Carr has been given the ball, Brian. We come down to the last 30 balls, 15 gone. It's 111 for 2. And Nauman Anwar 18 away from, if he gets to 100, it will be the second one we've seen in 2023.
Abhishek Parrot Carr, left arm pace, bowling around the wicket it looks. Yep, bowling around the wicket to Nauman Anwar, 82 from 56, and Hamad Azam just getting started, 4 from 4. You get the sense that this pair will have a lot to do with exactly where the Dallas Mustangs end up. The scoring rate picking up here, 17 from that last over, looking to add some more.
So 30 balls remaining here is Abhishek Parrot Carr. 2 overs, no made, none for 11, make that 12 now, and not a bad start to the 16th over as Hamad Azam comes into strike. And so 29 balls remaining here. Dallas Mustangs having been sent in here by East Bay Blazers. East Bay Blazers playing their 3rd day on this field number 1. And it's the first time in 2 days they're getting a chance to chase. And so far, you look at your card there on the screen, it's 112. So into the offside, lovely looking shot from Hamad Azam, but how good has David White been in this tournament, Brian?
David White, an excellent fielder. Haven't seen him in about a year. Seems to have bulked up a lot. He's put on solid weight. And I don't mean he's gotten fat. I mean that he's clearly been hitting the gym. Arms look absolutely powerfully built. And he's always a very aggressive batter.
So a couple of balls into the over. Not a bad start here from Parrot Car. He's only given up a couple of singles. And ball cut away. Lovely guide from Nauman Anwar, just guiding the ball in the vacant area. And he's gone up to 87.
Oh, that is class. That is absolute class. Nothing all wrong with the delivery. Maybe a touch too wide. But look at him here. Just open the face and just run it off the face of the bat there. Intentionally running it in the gap between backward point and short third. Racing away to the fence for 4.
And Brian, we made a point yesterday when you're bowling to batters in form, when you're bowling to a classy batter, the margin of error becomes extremely slim. We saw a fraction that the ball was short outside the off stump, using the pace well. And now he comes in touching distance, 13 away from the second 100 of this 2023 season. So 7 in this over so far. Still a couple of balls remaining. And Hamad Azam, who's been out of strike for some time, comes back in.
Just 5 from 5 for the captain. Striking it obviously at a strike rate of 100, but he's going to want more against his name than those 5 runs would suggest.
So important result for both of these teams. That the team that wins here will get a chance for championship glory on Sunday. And for the time being, Brian, 25 balls remaining. It's 119 for 2.
25 balls, 8 wickets in hand. My goodness, it is going to have to be the next over that they take off, because as of right now, you know, you still have 2 from Carmelo Rue, you still have 2 from Restaurant, so you would think that those would be the next 2, and really probably the only 2 bowlers to be used the rest of the way.
So ball eased into the offside, and Brian, when we come back, we'll talk about how nervous it gets when you get up to into the 90s.
I wouldn't know.
So 16 gone, it's 120 for 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So Lenny, maybe I should ask you, what is it like when you get into the 90s?
24 balls remaining. 89 to Nauman Anwar, so he's not there yet. But yes, Brian, we've seen so many times, sometimes batters will kind of be a little bit tentative in that phase. And sometimes they get carried away and they don't see the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is the team. And so with 24 balls remaining, Nauman Anwar, he's on 89, and Carmi Leroux comes back into the attack. 2 overs, no hit, none for 14. And this one into the offside, direct throw. Oh, he's gone.
Wow.
So Nauman Anwar off a direct throw.
Oh my goodness.
And that's gone. It's 120 for 3.
Oh my goodness. I believe that you just saw Sai Ganesh with a direct hit from short extra cover. Had it covered, you would think, but he chose instead, well, in fact, they went for the run. You could think, probably argue that they went maybe a little suicidally,
And look at this pickup and throw. Clean pickup. And Lenny, we've talked all weekend about the direct hits. And look at this throw here. Oh, just finding him short. And again, it has to be said, umpire Shane Samuels in the right position to be able to adjudicate as to whether or not Nauman Anwar got across the line. So Nauman Anwar will be tremendously disappointed because he did the hard work, had 100 in front of him. I think we give that credit for that wicket to the great Leonardo Chaibar because that was the commentator's curse. Talked so long about getting into the 90s and all of that. Here we see the replay again. Look at this. A direct hit. Trying to slide the bat there, and he just was on the line. I think the line belongs to the umpire, as they say. Ahmad Azam looking to scoop now. That did not go where he was intending, but it does go down to deep third for a couple. And the new batter is Ali Sheikh.
It's a couple of runs to Hamad Azam. Ali Sheikh has come to the middle, but still on strike is Hamad Azam. And Carmi LaRue has come back in the 17th over, so 22 balls remaining. They're batting at 122 for 3, so run a ball will give them 144. We saw some big scores, well, not really big scores, but probably some sense of par score on this ground. We saw 165 yesterday. The previous day we saw 151. And those were made by East Bay Blazers, winning both of those games right on this field. Oh, lovely shot from Hamad Azam. He brings out the ramp shot and it goes away for 4. Lovely shot from Hamad Azam.
That was the scoop shot that he was attempting. The last delivery, this time he does get it exactly where he wants it to. And it goes away for 4. Hamad Azam, who is a powerful striker of the ball, you don't expect somebody his size with his hitting ability to be playing ramp and scoop shots, but he actually favors scoring that route. And then, of course, when the line and length are changed to take that shot away, and he's more than capable of powering the ball down the ground.
So 6 off this over from Carmi LaRue. We've seen the fall of Nauman Anwar for 89. Brilliantly run out by Saideep Ganesh. Not playing a miss. An appeal goes up. And umpire Samuels certainly not interested. It's still 126 for 3, Brian.
Well, the projected scores, I think, look a little bit differently now because the scoring rate has slowed down. 6 from the over already. I was suggesting a couple of overs ago that they needed to go 10 and over to get to 160. That's actually still on the cards, but it would be much more difficult now.
So Ali Sheikh comes in to strike for the first time. 19 balls remaining. If you're bowling the 17th over, Brian, you have given up 7 runs. Will you take that?
You will take that 10 times out of 10, particularly with 7 wickets in hand and 2 very aggressive batters at the crease. You will absolutely take that every time.
But if it's Carmi LaRue, who picked up wicket yesterday, it was 7 runs and over. Did you think he went for too many?
Oh, no, not at all. Oh, no, 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 no. At this stage, you want the ball deliveries that can only be hit for singles. And he did get scooped for 4. But apart from that, that bowling has been exactly of the type that you'd want. And
So
here I'd want to see him bowl full and straight.
So Ali Sheikh faces his first ball. Oh, that's a quality delivery. Full and straight. You're right on that. With some bit of pace. 17 gone. It's 127 for 3.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Brian has about 11 wickets in 3 days. So we come back to the last 18 balls here, Brian. And now it's time for the express lane. as Rusty Tehran has been given the ball.
Rusty Tehran at this stage of his career, not as quick as he used to be, but he's still quick enough. But he's matched up here against Hamad Azam, who has never met a fast bowler who he did not like to face. So this, for me, is a really interesting matchup. Hamad Azam, a dangerous hitter at this stage of the innings. I guarantee you he's not worried about the wind. He's not worried about anything but putting the ball over the fence. Let's see how he and Rusty Tehran match up against each other
So
here.
they're going at 7.4 and over. And Rusty Tehran with 18 balls remaining. Hamad Azam is on 13. We've seen Ali Sheikh just walk to the middle. Not out, says umpire Brian Kane.
Be interesting to see where this ball went. Rusty Tehran with the short run-up, not very short, bustly type of a run-up. And Hamad Azam making room. Oh, that may have just come off of the thigh pad. It's a good take by the keeper, actually. Really good take by Aditya Ganesh, but it goes off of the thigh pad. So I think a good decision by umpire Kane.
So 17 balls. It comes down to Tehran pace off the ball. It's high into long on. Fielder comes in, takes a well-judged catch. And Hamad Azam falls 127 for 4.
He was looking big, as I suggested, and did not make good contact here. Rusty Tehran doing exactly as you mentioned, Lenny, taking a pace off, slower through the air, and maybe Hamad Azam getting out in front of that, as you'll see here. Look at the release, slower through the air, and you could see him going through with the shot and then sort of hesitating at the last minute because he knew he was beaten in flight. Ended up just lofting a pretty simple catch to long on. Wicket number 4, and I'll tell you what, things have gotten a little bit more difficult here for Dallas. 2 new batters at the crease. Ali Sheikh has faced 1 ball, and in a minute we'll see exactly who. In fact, this is Nosh Kenjige. Nosh Kenjige, who is a right-handed batter, left-arm spinner. So 2 left-arm spinners at the wicket. These 2 will feature heavily with the ball when Dallas bowls. But as of right now, Nosh, as a right-handed batter, is going to be asked to accelerate the scoring rate, which he can do. He's not a very big man, but he actually hits much more powerfully than you might be able to think. It'll be interesting to see how he and Rusty Tehran challenge each other here.
So good wicket here for Rusty Tehran. We saw in the first ball of the over, big appeal for a ball that went down the leg side for a caught behind. And so 16 balls remaining. New man out in the middle, Kenjige. Ali Sheikh watches the action, and here is the experienced Rusty Tehran. He's into ball to Kenjige. And Kenjige tip and run into the offside. And there's hardly many out there, Brian, who's as fleet-footed between the wickets than Kenjige.
Kenjige and Ali Sheikh, probably the 2, the 2 fittest and fastest on the field for the Dallas Mustangs. Ali Sheikh has come along in recent years as a power hitter. He's always a great bowler and a just top-class fielder, but his batting has come along leaps and bounds for the last couple of years. He's going to be asked to hit big here. 16 balls, make that 15 balls remaining in the innings.
So we've seen a very good over here from Rusty Tehran. He's only conceded 1. And he'll be quite happy. He's bowling to 2 new batters out in the middle. Ali Sheikh has only faced 1. We've seen Kenjige getting off the mark by just a tap into the offside. And Rusty Tehran, with 15 balls remaining, comes into bowl to Ali Sheikh, and ball tugged into the onside. In fact, straight down the ground. That's a good looking shot. They'll come back for a couple of runs, and good fielding prevented a boundary there, Brian.
Good fielding down the ground. This is the stage of the innings where you want your sprinters in the deep. Good work by the fielder at long on to come across, diving attempt, and prevents 4. So you never know how important those 2 runs will be. Looking here, that's dragged right past Rusty Theron, and a diving stop there. That's great work.
Still a very good over here from Tehran. 4 balls into the over. He's only conceded 3. Runs into Ali Sheikh. Punched away. What a shot from Ali Sheikh. And that has gone quickly down towards the backward point area. And that's a lovely shot from Ali Sheikh.
Yeah, giving him just a little bit too much width. Ali Sheikh pouncing all over that one, cutting it behind square. That's a lovely looking shot. Look at this. Yeah, the width is what the issue was there. Well wide outside the line of off stump. Rusty Theron needs to be a little bit closer toward off stump. And with looking across the way, it looks like Sanjay Krishnamurthy is in the forest to the east of the ground. Finally getting that ball back in.
So it's 134 on the board, 13 balls remaining, 7 of this over with still 1 ball remaining. And Brian Kenjige, Ali Sheikh, and the others to come will have to make full use of 13 balls remaining. Still a chance to get up to 150, 160, and even beyond. But we'll wait and see as Tehran will come into bowl his final ball of this over. And ball cut away into the glove of on the bongs to Aditya Ganesh. 18 gone. It's 134 for 4.
What's up, Doug?
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
I got it further away.
So Carmi Leroux will continue, 12 balls remaining. Kenjige on strike. We've seen a lovely shot in the last over off the bat of Ali Sheikh. And it comes down, Brian, to the last 12 balls. Carmi Leroux, very trusted bowler. 3 overs, no min, none for 21. He's gone for 7 and over.
Oh. What? Choosing not to throw that one, Rusty Theron. He may well have had a chance to run Ali Sheikh out here. Choosing instead to not go for that throw, but my sense, looking at it live, is that Ali Sheikh would have been struggling to get it on time, or to get in the crease on time, had that been a direct hit.
So we saw yesterday 4 for 13 from Carmi Leroux, including a magnificent catch off his own bowling. Different scenario, different matchups today. 11 balls remaining. He's looking to probably do more containment than anything else. Oh, lovely drive through the offside. He beats the inner ring, and that has gone away for 4. Ali Sheikh goes quickly up to 10 from just 5 balls. That's a lovely drive for 4.
That's a great looking shot by Ali Sheikh. Looking at the replay, I think you'll find a little bit too much width outside the line of off stump, and he didn't quite get it as full as he wanted to. Carmi Leroux bowled a beautiful Yorker, the last ball of his 3rd over. This one, I think, is just left a little bit too short. Maybe just not exactly a half volley, but didn't get the Yorker all the way up into the block hole like he wanted to. Ali Sheikh able to cash in on that delivery. 10 from 5, striking it at exactly 200, and still 4 balls to go here in over number 19.
And Brian, we've seen a couple of 4s off the bat of Ali Sheikh. They were classy shot. This one, a bit of a straightish drive. We saw in the over a wonderful square cut. Oh, lofted this time. It goes into the hands of the fielder. He comes up with a well-judged catch, just inches to play with. And that's the end of Ali's shake. It's 139 for 5.
That is a lovely catch down there. Hamza Tariq judging it well. You saw him watching that ball all the way. And at the same time that he's watching the ball, he has to be aware of where he is, because if he's on or over the rope, then that catch would have been a 6. Stays in the air for a really long time, and look at that. Taking the catch about maybe 3 feet, 2 or 3 feet inside the ropes. A really, really well judged catch by Hamza Tariq. That is wicket number 5. Ali Sheikh dismissed, and this is now going to be new batter Prathamesh Pawar coming in at number 7. Coming in with 3 balls remaining here in the over for Carmilaroo.
So Pawar comes into strike, and Brian, not too long ago, the ICC rule would have allowed the batters to cross,
Yep.
but not anymore. The new man faces the music. And Carmilaroo, he's picked up 1 for 26 so far. We've seen 5 runs in this over, 9 balls remaining. Oh, full taking on the pad. Samuels with the hands up. And that's the end of Pawar. So he gets the first ball. And all of a sudden, Carmilaroo is on a hat-trick. 139 for 6.
Full and straight, and in fact not just full and straight, it was a low full toss. Prathamesh Pawar looking to play that away on the leg side. Struck in front, and after a good hard think about it, umpire Shane Samuels deciding that this would have crashed into the stumps. This will give us a bit of a look here. Full dipping, and that would have hit him maybe just on or above the knee roll, but the ball was actually dipping, so I think umpire Shane Samuels of the opinion that that would have dipped enough to clip the stumps. That is his decision and his decision alone. So the protestations of the batters to the contrary, that does not matter. And all of a sudden, the bowler who's been the star in the last several matches, 4 for 13 yesterday with a couple of spectacular catches. And now Roman Reyes is coming in at number 8. Number 8 to try to stave off a hat-trick.
So hat-trick ball for Carmilaroo. Reyes comes in here with 8 balls remaining overall. A couple of balls to finish this over. And Carmilaroo, Brian will be quite happy. He's bowling to another new batter out in the middle. Here we go, hat-trick ball. Flicked away, and Roman Reyes, he gets off the mark, brings Kenjige with 7 balls remaining.
Good looking shot by Roman Reyes, who of course is known as a bowler, a left arm swing bowler. Carmilaroo of course fits that description as well, but Roman Reyes is a right-handed batter.
So final ball in this over. We've seen a very good bowler from Carmilaroo. A couple of strikes in this over. And Kenjige wants to retain strike. He nudges this one into the offside. And so the 19th over comes to a close. It's 141 for 6. So Rusty Tehran gets the final 6. And will come into bowl to Kenjige. Kenjige and Roman Reyes out in the middle, 141. You can see that on the screen. 6 balls remaining. And Brian, you say what, 151?
They would be happy with 150. Anything above that is a bonus. It's going to be easier, I think, to score off of Rusty Theron than of Carmela Rue. And with the last 6 balls, Nash Kenjige, who can be enterprising, will be looking to cash in some ways to try to accelerate the scoring at the end of the innings.
So big shot here from Kenjige. Oh, has he taken that catch? No, it's gone upstairs, it appears. So 6 off the bat of Kenjige. We had to wait some time for the confirmation, but it comes from Brian Kane, and that's a maximum. Good start to the 20th over.
Great start, a little too straight. In fact, no, not too straight, because he walks across to the offside to access the leg side, Nash Kenjige. I mentioned that he can score quickly. He's not very big, he's very wiry, very powerfully built, and he can score quickly.
Oh, not a good looking shot from Kenjige. Not in control, but it goes away for 4, 10 in 2 balls. Very good start here for the 20th over from Dallas Mustangs.
There's the 150 you were looking for. 151 on the board with still 4 balls to come. So I thought it would be easier to score off of Rusty Theron than off Carmela Rue. Nash Kenjige cashing in on these first 2 balls, and of course you will note that you mentioned it. He took a single off that last over, off the last ball of the last over, because he wanted to be on strike here in over number 20. Certainly starting out well here.
And Brian, these momentum shift at the end of the innings, they make such a big difference. Big swing and a miss this time, and first dot ball we've seen in the over. A couple of balls would have gone pretty well here for Kenjige. We saw 6 and then a 4. And we come down to the last 3 balls.
Boy, here we are. The last 3 balls, Nash Kenjige will be looking for somewhere around 8 runs from these last 3. Has to get back to ball, though. Look at Roman Reyes at the non-strikers end. See how quickly he's able to respond to any opportunities for runs. Oh, not able to get this one, though. Swing and a miss. So 2 dot balls for Rusty Theron after the 6 and the 4. Come back well, and it's going to be up to him now to close out this over strongly. Batters in the middle conferring, and it may come down to them saying, you know what, I need to remain on strike. So if there's an opportunity, we're coming back for 2.
So
because you want for it to be Nash Kenjige facing the last 2 balls.
So 10 in 2 balls. We've seen a couple of dots. So Rusty Theron with a couple of balls remaining. Here he is to Kenjige. Oh, that's a good strike from Kenjige. Long off, holds on to the ball well within the playing area. And Kenjige falls 151 for 7.
The catching has been amazing in this match, particularly on the boundary. And there have been a couple of balls, maybe 2 or 3. Had they gone another yard or so, they would have been a hit for 6. But look at this, skies it, and long off, settles under it, judging it well. There you see that step was about half a yard away from the rope. Great piece of work by that fielder in the deep to complete that catch.
So Nimbalka comes to the middle with the final ball.
Boy, that is a really good catch. That was Vikash Mohan on the boundary. Judged it to perfection and took it probably right at head height. So the final ball now to be faced by Ninan Nimbalkar.
So Brian, we saw the first couple of balls going for 10 runs. We've seen 3 dot balls, 1 including a wicket. And it comes down to this final ball. It's 151. The score resembles what we saw on the first day, made by East Bay Blazers. But they're chasing today, and here is the final ball. Nimbalka on strike, and he into the onside. They could be looking for 2.
They definitely will be. Nothing to lose.
And so run out 1. So run out and 1, 152 at the end of 20. And Dallas Mustang, they post 152, Brian.
152 for 8. The flurry at the end, I think, drags them towards something more respectable. maybe halfway through this innings, they would have been eyeing something a little bit more, probably something in the 165 range. As we'll see here, the last ball was anticlimactic, tapped into the leg side. They were always going to be coming back to look for two. You have nothing to lose by going for that, and then easy run out. But one run, how much of a difference will that one run make? We'll see. But 152 again, runs on the board. 152 would indicate to me that there's going to be some scoreboard pressure, particularly in the semifinal.
So we saw the top of the order, Nauman Anwar and Andres House put on some 56 runs. Nauman Anwar got up to 89. But we saw Sag in the middle, Hamad Azam, Sujit Gowda, Kenjige towards the end, quick 13, and in the end 152 posted by the Dallas Mustang.
That is an amazing scoring card. 89 for Nauman Anwar, and the next highest score was 14. Carmel Leroux doing what Carmel Leroux does. 4 overs, 2 for 28. Rusty Theron matching him exactly. 4 overs, 2 for 28. 1 wicket each for Sanjay Krishnamurthy and Angelo Pereira. The rest of bowlers were not necessarily expensive. In fact, did well to keep the scoring within rate, scoring rate within range. And it adds up to what is going to be an interesting chase the rest of the way. Needing to score at the rate of 7.65 to win for the East Bay Blazers. So it will not be easy. And again, there is that scoreboard pressure. The pressure to have to score to end up in the final. Nauman Anwar, 89 from 61, dominates the batting card there. And then the bowlers, Rusty Theron and Carmel Leroux with 2 wickets each. So, short break for us, 15 or so minutes. We'll be back with the chase from field number 1 of the Prairie View Cricket Complex. See you shortly.
Nauman Anwar. And Anwar ball outside the off stump, a big play and a miss. So ball into the offside. That's a lovely shot from Nauman Anwar. Just a push into the onside.
After this ball.
All the way. That's a lovely shot from Andres House.
That's for the East Bay Blazers.
Pulled away. That's a lovely shot from a poor delivery from Rusty Theron. 1 over in this power play. Oh, he hasn't gone well. Short and pummeled. Straight down the ground.
Not surprising that he's able to make that adjustment.
Ooh. So pulled away into the long on area. Fielder will come around. Will not get to the ball.
The game away from the opposition.
So cut away. Lovely shot from Nauman Anwar using the pace of the ball. So into the offside. That's a good looking strike from Nauman Anwar. The fielder cannot
swing in the net run rate calculations. Oh my goodness. We'll get back to that thought because Andreas House just lost his middle stump. 55-156 mark.
So full toss, hammered, and that goes straight down the ground.
So that's something to pay attention to as well.
So into the hands of Carmel Leroux.
Slowing the scoring rate down is what I'm struggling to say, but that doesn't slow the scoring rate down. That is 6 over long. Stay with the left-handed spinner. And there's 6. Well, I'm telling you that this...
Oh, that's a big strike from Nauman Anwar. He picked it up sweetly. Rated by 1 dot ball. And he goes into the onside. Has he found the gap? Yes, he has. In front of Carmel Leroux. And ball cut away. Lovely guide from Nauman Anwar. And this one into the offside. Direct throw. Oh, he's gone. Oh, lovely shot from Hamad Azam. He brings out the... Tehran pace off the ball. It's high into long on. Fielder comes in, runs into Ali Sheikh. Oh, punched away. What a shot from Ali Sheikh. Oh, lovely drive through the offside. He beats the... Oh, lofted this time. It goes into the hands of the fielder. Oh, full taking on the pad. Samuels with the... So big shot here from Kenjige. Oh, has he taken that catch? Oh, not a good looking shot from Kenjige. Not in control, but it goes away. Here he is to Kenjige. Oh, that's a good strike from Kenjige. Long off, holds on to the ball well within.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
So welcome back, 153 needed. From 120 balls, Brian, as the two openers comes out to the middle and we're getting ready for play. So here we go.
Roman Reyes with the new ball in hand. Similar to Carmelo Rue in that he's a left arm pace bowler swinging the ball into the righties. Whereas Carmelo Rue is around 6'4". Roman Reyes is probably 5'8", more of a Malcolm Marshall. But very quick and again, really has that ability to swing the ball into the righties. Sai Ganesh on strike, having that first delivery. Now the second one is ridden down to short fine leg for a single, first single of the day. And interesting that it was Roman Reyes who got the new ball in hand and not Esanadil. I'm wondering what that is about.
So they'll need to, for now, 7.7 is the required rate. And Brian, we know from time to time that could go up or it could go down. The batting team will want it to go down or let it stay pretty stable. And the bowling team will want to carry that one up. So we've seen David White and Saideep Ganesh has always been forming that top order. And David White, we saw on the opening day, got 53, so he's gotten runs on this field. And he comes into strike, faces up to a man who's played at the international level before.
Oh, my goodness.
So David White is cleaned up, middle stump knocked out of the ground. And the first wicket goes down here for East Bay Blazers off the bowling of Roman Reyes. A brilliant ball.
That is the ball I was talking about, the ball that swings into the right-hander, starting maybe in an off stump, maybe even the fourth stump line, curling back in to obliterate the middle stump. The zing bails and the zing stumps lighting up in the middle of the day. And what an absolutely brilliant ball. Here we see swinging in and curling back between bat and pad, leaving a little bit of a gap there, David White, and fully exploited by Roman Reyes. The Dallas Mustangs, and I'll say more about them in a second. Here we see this delivery again. Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Obliterating that middle stump. And the first wicket goes down, 1 for 1. The Dallas Mustangs are a really good bowling side. And at the toss, Captain Hamad Azam said, we need the batters to come to the fore. We are a good bowling side. We just need the batters to come to the fore. You get the sense that the batters probably got to about a par score, but a par score against a good bowling side can sometimes be enough. And so we'll see how well they'll continue along this line, because Roman Reyes is an excellent, excellent bowler, supported by Esanadil. Good finger spinners, good leg spinners. It's a solid bowling side from top to bottom, and really led well by Hamad Azam.
So Krishnamurti comes out at number 3, 1 for 1. Seen an excellent start here from the Dallas Mustangs. Certainly led by Roman Reyes. He's taken out David White. And so 152 needed from 117 balls. And so this is excellent stuff here from Roman Reyes. What a start for the Dallas Mustangs.
Brilliant bowling by Roman Reyes. He's, again, a really difficult bowler to size up because he's quick. He's very quick, but the added advantage of him being a lefty, swinging the ball in, and sometimes he doesn't swing it. It has it go straight across the right-handed batters. That's why you see Nauman Anwar, who started the bat some 89 runs, is the one standing at first slip. So he's going to be in action, you would think, at some point as well. But as of right now, Roman Reyes is making this ball talk.
So ball flicked away. That's a lovely shot from Krishnamurti. And they come back for a couple of runs. So he gets off the mark. Good looking shot from Sanjay. And this over's gone pretty well for Roman Reyes. He's picked up the wicket of David White. He's only conceded 3. This is a good start here for the Mustangs.
Really good start indeed. And you will take 3 for 1 all day, every day from the first over of an innings in which the chasing side needs to score 153.
Yes, Brian, and the wicket of David White is such a big one.
Yes.
So the likes of Sanjay Krishnamurti and Saideep Ganesh. Ganesh has not played a full season, so whether or not he can really come back into form, we'll have to wait and see. Still 150 needed. So he gets a shot into the onside. That will complete the first over. Good one for Roman Reyes, 4 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Just a word for those of you who are joining us online. You can interact with us directly on Twitter at MIL Cricket, at MIL Cricket. Just happened to run into a gentleman right before the inning started. Toby is a new fan of cricket, a fan of the East Bay Blazers, and was very complimentary toward you and me, Lenny. So if there are any questions or any issues that you all want to discuss, we might be able to add it to your understanding of the game, or just to interact in whatever way. Whether or not you need to learn anything, we're here for that exact reason. This is now Ehsan Adil. We talked about bowling from the highway end.
So a couple of quality paces here for the services of Dallas Mustang, Brian. Ehsan Adil, and we've seen Roman Reyes. Both players would have played at the highest level for Pakistan, and they're coming here. They're gonna be quality stuff. We've seen an early strike from Roman Reyes, and the likes of Sanjay Krishnamurti and Saideep Ganesh will have their work cut out. It's 4 for 1.
Ehsan Adil has been carrying an injury, something to look for, carrying an injury to his right knee. And saw him this morning. He suggested that he was about 40%. Let's see if 40% is good enough.
Oh, cut away. That's a lovely shot from Sanjay Krishnamurti. And it doesn't get better than that. What a shot.
Well, whatever his percentage is, if he's going to bowl short outside the off stump, he's going to get put away for 4 every single time, particularly inside the power play. Nobody in the deep on the offside. I think you'll find this ball well outside the line of off stump. And Krishnamurti only too happy to open up his shoulders and cash in on that gift outside off stump for 4.
So very solid response from Sanjay Krishnamurti. Second ball into this over from Ehsan Adil.
That's better. That's what you expect from him. Delivers from very close to the stumps. If we can get a replay of how he delivers right up close to the stumps and bowls essentially wicket to wicket, but then moves the ball in both directions off the seam. Doesn't swing it much. Here we see on this replay. Look at this. Look how close he gets to the stumps on his delivery. Right there. How close. That ball is coming down from probably leg stump on the non-striker's end, going down the wicket and then moving it off the seam. He is at his best when he delivers that type of ball and able to move it both ways off the seam.
So ball tugged into the onside, and Brian, you gotta love the positive response by Sanjay Krishnamurti. We saw a lovely off-drive shot for 4, and he's not afraid to take on the pacer.
Yep.
And you look at Ehsan Adil, and we saw yesterday Corny Dry running from far. Ehsan Adil is running from almost the 30-yard circle.
Well, if he has a bad knee and is running from the 30-yard circle.
This might be the best day to face him.
Again, a tremendous bowler. Of course, played for Pakistan at the highest level. Played a few tests and a few limited over matches for Pakistan. These days now only exclusively here in the U.S. and plays much of his cricket for the Dallas Mustangs.
So we see a player limping off. And Brian, as the players come down to the end of the season, so much niggles and so much worry about being 100% fit. Are you ever 100% fit as a cricketer?
I don't know that you're ever 100% fit as an athlete. But here's the thing, though. There's two players limping. It's hard to tell which one is actually going off. Okay, so they're holding on to each other and they're both limping. Let's see. So that appears to be, is that Nanad Nimbalkar? I believe that's Nanad Nimbalkar who's limping off. So you really do hate to see that. And then the fielder who's coming in to replace, if this is Nanad Nimbalkar going off, the fielder who's coming in to replace him is young Rishi Ramesh. Rishi Ramesh, the captain of the U19 USA cricket team that qualified for a spot in the U19 World Cup. Rishi Ramesh now standing at backward square leg. The fielder in the deep.
So Adil has gone for 5. Ganesh comes into strike. That's Saidib Ganesh. Yeah, with Anisa and Adil, that's like wasting a ball there, Brian, with that run up.
Not only is it like wasting a ball, it's extra wear and tear on the knee that you're trying to protect. And again, he said before the game that he was at about 40%. Interestingly, saw him on Wednesday. Then he said he was 50%. So he's gone down 10% in the last 2 days. Let's see if that affects his bowling.
So ball driven into the offside. That's a lovely drive, but can't be the man at short mid-off.
Hamad Azam, the captain in that position. So good over so far. Just a boundary and a single. So 5 runs. You'll accept 5 runs in the power play overs. Always, of course, keeping an eye on that required rate is up to 7.93. You need another 144 runs and only have another 109 balls to go. So pay attention to those numbers as we go through this innings.
It's a couple of wins for both teams, and we come down to this decider. That's another quality delivery, and that is because of pace, nothing else. So 2 gone, it's 9 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So Lenny, I mentioned that we interact with all who will respond to us on Twitter. Well, one of the great commentators from your part of the world, Joe Hickey, mentions to us that NJSC's net run rate is a bit misrepresented because the 0 runs from 120 balls for that forfeit is not showing up. Hammered down the ground for 4. Couple of bounces over the top of mid-on. Roman Reyes starts out here, conceding a boundary to Sanjay Krishnamurti.
Yeah, lovely shot from Sanjay Krishnamurti, just taking advantage of a full delivery. And Roman Reyes pays the price. Take a look at this, and yeah, lovely manipulation of the ball into the onside. That's a good-looking shot from Sanjay Krishnamurti. We've seen a couple of 4s from him already.
Good-looking shot for the youngster, very risky. Dragging that one from outside the line of off. It was definitely full. Probably you would argue too full from Roman Reyes. Just needing to pull that length back just a bit.
So still 140 to win from 107 balls.
That's a better length, much better length. Drawing the batter forward, you want the batter to be coming forward. to bring slips and the keeper into play, but you don't want it to be so full that he's able to drive through the line like he just did. So good correction by Roman Reyes.
So Roman Reyes, we saw him in his first over. Brian took out David White by a brilliant ball that knocked the middle stump out of the ground. But we've seen Sanjay Krishnamurti fighting back here. He's up to 12 with a couple of fours, and he's not afraid to play a couple of big shots already.
So interesting, they've done away with the slip. Nauman Anwar is now out of slip and is in a short extra cover position. So they're going to be keeping it full, looking for him to drive it.
So this has been a very good over here from Roman Reyes. We saw the first ball going for 4, but he's followed up with a couple of dots. And so that the required rate has gone slightly up to 8 runs and over. They're going at 5.2. So the more pressure the bowling teams put on this East Bay Blazers batting lineup and more dot balls come into play, Brian, those required rate, they go up slightly, but if you can get them to go up, then you're probably doing well as a bowling unit.
No question.
Oh, lofted in the air. He's in danger here. In the end, a well-judged catch from number 3.
So just Gowda with the catch.
And
Sanjay Krishnamurti.
And Krishnamurti is gone. It's 13 for 2, Brian.
Sanjay Krishnamurti looking to go big over the leg side. I don't know that that ball was exactly there for the shot that he was looking to play. And just ends up leading edge. The ball goes a mile in the air. Sujit Gowda and Rishi Ramesh both closing in on that ball. And Sujit Gowda is the one with the better look at it. The senior pro calls and says, that one will be mine. And ends up swallowing it alive. The second wicket goes down, both to Roman Reyes. And look at this. Here we see skying it. And it stays in the air a really long time. Those catches in windy conditions are not easy. But Sujit Gowda pouching it without much fuss. And the second wicket goes down again. Both wickets taken by Roman Reyes. The Dallas Mustangs are on top of this game so far. East Bay Blazers 13 for 2.
So Rizwan comes to the middle. They've lost David White. They've lost Sanjay Krishnamurti, looking to flick into the onside. Got a bit of top edge, and Roman Reyes has provided that bit of deception. So Roman Reyes has picked up both wickets so far. And Rizwan, we saw yesterday, getting a good knock among the runs yesterday. It's 140 to win from 104 balls. Still a long way to go. And for this initial stage and in this initial chase, wide is the call from umpire Samuels. You've got to give some bit of advantage here. I know it's early, Brian, to the Dallas Mustangs. They picked up 2.
It is absolutely early, but I would think, as I said, 151, 52 runs in a semi-final is almost like 170, 175 in a league stages match. And with that scoreboard pressure, that makes you do some silly things as a batter. And I think you might have seen Sanjay Krishnamurti fall victim to that.
So ball defended into the onside, and you get the feeling, Brian, that both batters out in the middle, especially the new one that has just come to the crease, Rizwan, could be feeling the pressure of the loss of David White and Krishnamurti.
Could absolutely be feeling the pressure. And again, all of that pressure is heightened because of the fact that this is a semi-final. So it's going to take a calm head. Rizwan, a very experienced cricketer, as you mentioned, would have played for the UAE for a number of years internationally. But he's also up against 2 former international players themselves, Roman Reyes and Ehsan Adil.
So ball turned into the onside, could be looking for a couple of runs. Fielder runs around, makes a very good save. 2 runs here off the bat of Rizwan. He gets off the mark, and after 3 is 16 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Adil will continue. Got a tidy first over that only conceded 5 runs. And we've seen a couple of strikes from Roman Reyes. Brian, 137 to win from 101, asking 8.14.
If you are the Dallas Mustangs, you back yourself at this stage more as a bowling side than as a batting side. And so you're confident that you can keep a team that has lost David White and Sanjay Krishnamurthy from scoring 8.14 runs and over for 101 balls. You think that you have the confidence in yourself to be able to have that happen.
So the winner here will decide the Pacific finalist. So much to play for. In fact, everything to play for. What a shot from Saidib Ganesh.
Oh my goodness.
But can't pierce this inner ring. It's a dot ball.
Roman Reyes saves 4 runs. That ball was punched off the middle of the bat, timed to perfection by Saidib Ganesh. And Roman Reyes diving to his left. He's left-handed, so he's diving to his strong side, but able to pouch that one and keep it from going by. Now, interesting, they're playing games with do we want to slip, do we not want to slip? For the first 2 balls of this over, Nauman Anwar was at first slip. He's now out of the slips. So the slip cordon is wide open. There's a fielder at deep third. Nauman Anwar in now at backward point.
It's a ball defended here by Saidib Ganesh. We've seen some very steady, good fast bowling from Roman Reyes and now Ihsan Adil. They're quality paces, and you'll really have to bat well to get by these 2 bowlers who have played at the international level and now plies their trade and lives in this country, Brian. And this is a formidable opening bowling attack here from the Dallas Mustangs.
Certainly formidable, but their backup bowlers are equally as good. Hamad Azam, underrated, I think, as a pace bowler. And then good left-arm spin with Nash Kenjige and Ali Sheikh.
Flicked into the onside, fielder comes in, takes the catch. And Saidib Ganesh is gone, is 16 for 3. Ihsan Adil picks up 1. And trouble here for the East Bay Blazers.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that was not going to be dropped. If I'm not mistaken, that was Ali Sheikh down at the boundary. And you always see where you're expecting the ball to go by where Ali Sheikh is. He's the best fielder on the side. I've said a number of times, Lenny, he's the best fielder in the country. And this is lofted down, and he's not going to drop that. Absolutely not going to drop that. Pretty simple catch. He will swallow that 10 times out of 10. A 3rd wicket goes down. 3 wickets inside the power play. That makes a big difference when you're chasing a total that is now looking bigger and bigger by the minute as each of these batters is dismissed.
So another wicket goes down. They're batting at 16 for 3. Pressure on East Bay Blazers. And we've seen the Pacers, Roman Reyes and Ihsan Adil. And earlier on, Brian, I asked you, 2-3 wickets in the power play, how crucial is that?
In a vacuum, you don't want to lose wickets in the power play. In the context of this game, it becomes even that much more difficult because you're facing up against a really good bowling side. You're chasing a total, again, that's starting to look bigger and bigger. And 3 down, that required rate now 8.39. You're only scoring at 4.36. So you're going at about half the scoring rate that you need to be going at. and you know how strong the bowling attack is. And everything so far in this tournament that Hamad Azam, as captain, has done has worked. So there's 2 balls now remaining, and the new batter in. See exactly who that is in a minute, but he's going to be up against a really difficult bowling side here.
So he starts with a short one. Wide is the call from the square leg.
Yeah, umpire Shane Samuels making the judgment that that one is sailing away over the top. The new batter is Angelo Pereira, the captain.
And Brian, as a fast bowler or a bowler that has delivered a ball like that, you probably would like the umpire to signal a wide and not a no ball.
Well, the second, that not only was that a wide, but that's the first short ball for the over. If he delivers another one just like that, then it will be a no ball.
So very quality over. Even with a wide, he's only conceded 1. Isan Adil wraps him on the pad too high. He's bowling with good pace.
I will tell you, Isan Adil said again, he was at 40%. He's more than 40%. And you can see how well he's bowling by the length of his follow-through. When that follow-through is taking him to within a couple of yards of the batter, that tells you how fired up he is, how much he's going on adrenaline. Look at this ball, yes, I think you're right. Wrapping the batter on probably the thigh pad, bouncing well over the stumps. Yeah, bouncing well over the stumps. Look at him appealing. I think even he would have known that that was not going to be out.
Well, Isan Adil planned to come with 40%, Brian, but the way things have gone, with 3 down, 17 on the board, he is amped up. Playing a miss, and the ball goes through to the keeper. So the 4th over comes to a close. It's 17 for 3.
What's up, Doug?
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So Rushil Yugarka has been given the ball, Brian. 13 wickets in this season. And we'll come into bowl to Rizwan. We've seen tremendous work done by Roman Reyes and Isan Adil. And you look at the card that says 17 for 3, and those 2 men have been responsible for the way things are. 17 for 3. We saw David White, Saidib Ganesh, and Sanjay Krishnamurti back in the shade. And that's a lovely shot over the infield, and that will go away for 4. So a lovely shot from Rizwan. It's 21 for 3.
Rushil Garka can sometimes be guilty of bowling too short. This time making an intentional effort to pitch it up. So I like the length that time, but the line is too far outside off stump, and that provides Rizwan with the opportunity to open his arms and go big over the offside, slicing that away over the top of cover for 4.
So 132 from 95, pressure on East Bay Blazers, but we've seen in the last couple of days, Brian, they've played on this pitch, they've played on this field, and they've done well. In fact, they have won both of their games playing here. So batting first, and so today is a chasing one for them, 132 from 95, and they will have to do without the services of David White, Saidib Ganesh, and Krishnamurti for the time being. We've seen Rizwan yesterday, and we know he can bat.
He can certainly bat. I said it a couple times yesterday. When you lose quick wickets, it puts you in the mindset of having to understand when to attack and when to be more judicious. And that's not necessarily the best mindset if you're chasing a big total that's continuing to climb in terms of the run rate, or the scoring rate, the required rate, up now to 8.43.
So a lovely shot again from Rizwan, but good fielding, good ground fielding, limiting the shot to just a single, and brings the captain Angelo Pereira onto strike, 22 for 3.
Yeah, that's Sujit Gowda at mid-on, making a few yards to his left. And the tumbling save, not able to prevent the single, but certainly keeps it from running away for 4. So all of these runs that are being saved in the field become critical in the context of this game.
And Brian, you look at Rushil Yogarkar, he seems to be a young bowler, but I love his stride. Take a look at that. Oh, lofted up and over. That's a lovely shot from Angelo Pereira. And we'll have to wait. Confirmation comes that it has gone over the rope. And that's a lovely shot from Angelo Pereira. He picks up 6.
Once again, it's better to be too full than too short, generally speaking, but this one has to be said is on a tee outside the line of off stump and just striking it through the line. A man who's played international cricket will not have much difficulty with those types of balls. So Rushil Yogarkar needing to find that right length. The length needs to be just short of driving length. This one is too full.
So 11 off the over so far. We've seen tidy stuff from Roman Reyes when he bowled from this end of the ground, but Rushil has gone for 11 in this over. And Brian, we're coming back to the run-up of the young fast bowler. I kind of like it, what I see. He runs in well, strides pretty well, very fluent. And he does a little bit of Courtney Walsh, ball punched into the offside. They get a single. What do I mean by I say a little bit of Courtney Walsh? He runs in with holding the ball in his left hand.
Switches to the right.
And he switches to the right towards the build-up to the climb and the delivery stride. So we'll take a look at that. 29 for 3. This over's gone for 12 so far. How important is bowlers run-up, Brian, to deliver a fast ball?
It is everything. That's where most fast bowlers develop the momentum for the deliveries. Better length again. So the last 2 balls have been on the length that he wants to bowl. Got expensive from bowling too full from the first and the fourth deliveries of this over. So 12 coming from the over. Bit of an expensive one, most expensive for the innings so far. At the end of 5, the score is 29 for 3.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 29 for 3, 124 to win from 90 balls, still asking over 8 runs and over. We've seen a lovely strike from Angelo Pereira in the last over, Isan Adil. 1 for 6 in 2, and Brian, do you get the impression that Isan Adil flicked away straight into the hands of short backward square, and another wicket goes down. The captain is gone, Pereira is gone. It's 29 for 4. Trouble here for the East Bay Blazers.
The substitute fielder, mentioned him earlier, Rishi Ramesh, at that short fine leg position. The ball was on Captain Angelo Pereira's hips. He does what you're supposed to do with the ball on your hips, flicking it away. Thought he had 4 runs, but only succeeding in finding Rishi Ramesh right behind square. And look at that. Oh, just a couple of steps to his left and takes it about knee height. And the captain of the USA U19 team will be happy with that dismissal. Good catch taken, 29 for 4. No, that's Rishi Ramesh.
So 29 for 4. Looks like Aditya Ganesh has come to the middle. So we've seen a couple of wickets now from Isan Adil. Roman Reyes has picked up 2. And Brian, I get the feeling that Ihsan Adil is going to bowl his 4 and probably he's going to get some rest. And that's one of the advantage. And that's one of the advantage when you're bowling last. There's no penalty. For the
nobody is counting how long you've been off.
So Aditya Ganesh comes to the middle with some trouble in the camp. We've seen him in a couple of days of cricket here. He's batted extremely well. Got 59 yesterday, Brian. Got 33 the previous day. And he comes in with the Blazers needing 124 from 89 balls. But that's not the bigger picture. The fact is they've lost 4. And so that's a matter of concern.
No question there's a concern. We've said it a number of times already. This Dallas team is a brilliant bowling side. Ihsan Adil and Roman Reyes with a great start with the ball here.
So ball turned into the onside. Easy single here for Ganesh. And brings the equation down to 123 to win from 88 balls. We've seen a couple of strikes from Roman Reyes. We've seen 2 from Ihsan Adil. And essentially the 2 fast bowlers really accounted for the wickets so far.
Interestingly, and I'll point out that Andreas Kraus, of course, is the man with the gloves on, injured himself badly, cut a finger 3 weekends ago that required stitches. So the fact that he is able to keep is a testament to how quickly he's recovered from that injury. And I think, in fact, down at deep square leg, you see Ali Sheikh warming up. He may be coming in next. Gets away this one. Oh, in fact, it goes all the way for 6. Goes all the way for 6. Sliced away over the top of cover. I did not realize that that ball would have had the legs to carry all the way over point for 6. But these are welcome runs here to Rizwan.
So not a good looking shot from Rizwan. Such a good player. We saw him yesterday. Look at this one, carving this one over the offside. And using the pace of the delivery to really great effect. So this over's gone for 7 so far. And the equation comes down to 117 to get into the final. 87 balls at your disposal.
I think there have been 2 deliveries that have been not ideal for Ihsan Adil.
Oh, pulled away short and hammered over the backward square area, and couple of maximums in a row of the bat of Rizwan.
So I started saying there have been 2 deliveries that Ihsan Adil would have wished he had back. Both of them were wide outside off and got punished. 1 for 4, 1 for 6. This is a drag down. I don't mind the short ball, but this is a little too straight. On the right arm over angle, going down behind the batter. So all that Rizwan needed to do was get some bat on it. Didn't hit it cleanly, but all he needed was some bat. That ball is going to fly away for 6. So 13 from the over already now, 2 to come.
So a couple of consecutive 6s of the bat of Rizwan. Aditya Ganesh is at the other end. You're watching a Pacific Conference decider. Cut away into the offside. Can't score this time. We've seen Pacific Central, Dallas Mustangs, and Pacific Western, East Bay Blazers. And Brian, we made mention of the Atlanta Fire, just 1 win away from getting to the final. And if Atlanta Fire does so, it will be the 2nd final in 2 years. All to play for. Final ball coming up here from Ihsan Adil. He's gone for 13 in this over. And he runs into bowl to Rizwan. 42 for 4. And a ball that is well bowled. So that will complete the 6th over. And after 6 is 42 for 4.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save. Because rewards come first.
So 111 to win from 84 balls. So the captain, Brian, comes into the attack. He replaces Rushil Yugarka.
Rushil Yugarka going for a few runs, his 1 over. In fact, 25 runs coming from the last 2 overs. Rushil Yugarka is going for 12. And then that last one from Esanadil going for 13. So Captain Hamad Azam wants to pull things back. Doesn't ever want East Bay to think that they're in with a chance at all. At required rate now down under 8. It was about 8.5 for a while. It is now down to 7.93. The scoring rate is up to 7. So you're going to want to get both of those numbers under control if you're Hamad Azam, which is why he's bringing himself in. Now outside of the power play, so you can be a lot more defensive with your field settings. There's a deep square leg and a deep mid-wicket.
So we saw Aditya Ganesh getting a couple of big scores, 133 and 159 yesterday. And he's a quality player, Brian, Aditya Ganesh. He'll need to score at 8 runs and over. They have lost 4. We have seen the Pacers on top of the East Bay Blazers for the time being, but we've seen some good lower order batting from time to time in teams, and you never know what could happen. But I've seen the dependency on fast bowling here for the Dallas Mustangs. Is that the preferred way they have gone about their campaign this year, Brian?
It is not. They have brilliant spinners. That's Nash Kenjige, who just fielded that ball. I would assume he's the first spinner who will come into the attack. Ali Sheikh is a brilliant left arm spinner. Both he and Nash are left arm orthodox spinners. Sujit Gowda can turn his arm over and give you 3 or 4 cheap overs. And Nauman Anwar, for all his exploits with the bat, is actually a decent leg spinner. So there are several different bowling options for spin and pace.
Yes, Brian, when you talk about Kenjige, if I go to the ground and I've got 6 players and Kenjige comes and wants to play with my 6-a-side team, I've got 11. Correct?
I think he's going to want to listen back to this exact spot in the commentary later on, and I think it will be an Instagram post by tomorrow.
Such a good fielder. He covers so much acreage on the field. And such a dangerous fielder. Oh, gets an outside edge. Well away from any of the fielder, Brian. And that equation comes down to 109 to get into the final from 80 balls. We've seen some very good cricket here from Dallas Mustangs. In particular, their fast bowling. Couple of wickets from Roman Reyes. The wicket to take out David White. Would have been such a timed dismissal that it may have really affected the others to come that came after him.
So no question that the Dallas Mustangs have landed 4 big body blows, but you're not by any means out of this match yet, and this pair you've seen can put some runs on the board. This is worked down to Rishi Ramesh coming in from deep mid-wicket, just a single.
Yeah, Brian, you're right on that. We've seen Rizwan yesterday. We've seen Ganesh in the last couple of days. So scorecard reading of 45 for 4. But if they can rebuild something, push this game deep. There's a popular phrase that we use in T20 cricket. Couple of big overs can really put you back on track, and you never know what can happen.
Having said that, this is a brilliant over in progress. 25 went from the last 2 combined, but Hamad Azam has only conceded 3, with this being the last ball.
So ball turned into the onside. Rizwan looking to run fast for the first one, but in the end they settle for 1. 7 gone is 46 for 4.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 107 needed from 78 balls. So left arm spin. Kenjige gets the ball, Brian. And we'll come into bowl to Rizwan. He's up on 21. Ganesh is on 3. And they're asking to score 8.2 and over.
Kenjige, a great spinner for several years for the USA national side. A wily spinner, many variations, can change his length, change his trajectory, sometimes delivers from behind the stumps. Just so many different variations that he has. One of the more difficult bowlers that you'll see to attack.
So we're seeing a little partnership forming here, 18 so far. Still a long way to go, asking 8, still and over. It's 106 to win from 77 balls. And Brian, if you were the human win predictor,
$57. 57. Do you see where that ball was released from? I want to see a replay of that again if we could, Roddy. He released this ball from just about in line with the stumps. That's going to be a bye, but that definitely would have fooled the batter who's expecting for him to take another step to come up and deliver from on the crease. But he actually releases this ball just in line with the stumps. Look at this. Look where he releases this ball from. There. In fact, a little bit difficult to tell from that point, but he certainly is releasing it from further back than you'd expect. This is driven down the ground. Oh, bouncing just in front of Rashilu Garkar. They go for a single.
So 49 on the board. Kenjige has gone for 3 in this over. So he started pretty well. Pressure on East Bay Blazers for the time being, asking over 8 runs and over. The ball cut away into the offside. Runs coming by singles for the time being. We've seen a very good over so far from Noshtosh Kenjige. He's only conceded 4, Brian.
2 balls to go, 4 runs, and that required rate up to 8.35. Rizwan has looked good, 23 from 14. Ganesh just now getting started, 4 from 7. That brings up the 50, by the way, that last single. So you need another 103 in 74 balls.
So that partnership has gone up to 21. And we made mention Rizwan plays for the United Arab Emirates, UAE, at the associate level, and we've seen how nagging his bowling was. But he comes in here with 102 needed from 73, a partnership of 22 between the pair out in the middle. And they've gone past 50, 51 for 4. And ball into the onside, so 8 gone is 52 for 4.
What's up, Doug?
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So 8 gone, 52 for 4. 101 needed, Brian, from 72 balls. Still asking 8.4. You get the feeling that both Ganesh and Rizwan, they're up to something. They've built a 23-run partnership, but they'll have to keep an eye on getting 8 and 9 per over as Hamad Azam will continue.
Hits the bat hard, Hamad Azam. Bowls that in between length, that hard length. It's a defensive sort of length. A test bowler would probably bowl a yard or 2 fuller, but at that length and at that pace, he becomes difficult to score off of because you don't know whether to go forward or back. He traps you on the crease, and that's a great stock ball for him to have to keep these batters quiet. particularly the left-hander Ganesh, who's still just now starting to get into his craft.
And Brian, as a top order batter, that when you come out to bat, you've got to realize that both Roman Reyes, Isan Adil, and now Hamad Azam part of the attack. And you can't always wait for the one that is short and wide to capitalize on those square shots. Your driving has to be pinpoint. You'll have to look for the drives so that when the ball come a little bit in line with the middle stump, middle and off, you've got to look to extend that front foot and come up with some V drives. Oh, that one keeps low, and I've got to say that we've seen 3 days of cricket here, Brian. The pitch has certainly held up.
It absolutely has. The ball again bouncing before it gets through to Andreas Kraus, but 3 dot balls, 3 precious dot balls bowled here by the captain Hamad Azam. Look at that. He's bowled 9 deliveries already in his spell, and you've only scored 4 runs off of him. So this is brilliant bowling by the captain. Done well to pull things back after the couple of expensive overs bowled by Rashul Garkar and Isan Adil.
So ball flicked away off the hip here from Ganesh, brings the more attacking Rizwan into strike. And that partnership has gone up to 24. We've seen a very good over from Hamad Azam. He's only conceded 1, couple of balls remaining in this over. And so with 53 on the board, Brian, they need exactly 100 from here on. 68 balls at their disposal.
See the field switching around now for the more aggressive right-handed batter Rizwan. Deep mid-wicket in position, that's Sujit Gowda. Deep square leg, that is Rashul Garkar.
So ball into the square leg area, and Brian, when we talked about the toss, we've seen East Bay Blazers setting targets, and they were able to defend for the last couple of days, but they came here early start, realizing that the dampness or the moisture in the early morning game, and they opted to chase.
Yep. 99 times out of 100, I would think the team that wins the toss in the morning under damp conditions would want to bowl first. But they were not able to get off with a good start with the ball. They pulled it back in the middle overs so that the team, the Dallas Mustangs, didn't score as much as they thought they would have wanted to. But this is great bowling here in turn by the captain Hamad Azam. His 2 overs have only cost him 6 runs. Doing a good job to pull things back for his side. Last 5 overs have gone for 37, just 2 from that over. After 9, the score is 54 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 99 to win, 66 balls remaining, 54 for 4, 9 gone.
Interesting look at this, Lenny. In terms of the scores, both teams are almost exactly identical. They have 54 runs on the board, the East Bay Blazers. At this stage of their innings, the Dallas Mustangs had 56. So in terms of the number of runs, they're equal. The big difference here is wickets lost. So the Dallas Mustangs were able to play with a certain amount of freedom because of the fact that they kept wickets in hand going into the latter stages of the innings. In fact, they didn't lose their first wicket until 56, the Dallas Mustangs. On the other hand, 4 top order wickets have been lost by the East Bay Blazers. So they will not be able to play as freely going into the back end of this game, and especially not against Nush Kenjige and the rest of the bowling attack.
And we saw an over from Hamad Azam conceding only a couple of runs, so that's not good. So Kenjike will return. First over went for 5. Rizwan and Ganesh, they posted a partnership of 25, 99 to win, asking 9 runs and over. Doesn't time it well, could pick up a couple of runs. Fielder will come around. And a good looking shot to start the 10th over here off the bat of Rizwan. He picks up a couple of runs.
Nauman Anwar all over the place. He's down now at long on. He's gone from slip to backward point to slip, back to backward point. Now he's down at the boundary at long on. Doing good work there, sprinting to his left, a one-handed pickup, preventing that ball from going for 4.
Oh, Kenjike comes down, charges the leg spinner. And they scamper through for 1. Appeal. Samuel says not out. And it's another single here for the East Bay Blazers.
For me, the opportunity for the wicket was at the non-striker's end. The non-striker, I think, would have been in with a chance if that's the end that you'd have gone to. So you'll have a good look at it here. Look at the non-striker. He's taking off. There, the batter hesitates after coming off the outside edge. So there, had the throw gone the other way, there's still another 7-8 yards for that strike, or for the striker to come to cover. He would have been gone had the throw gone to that end. This should give us a good look at the actual run out. Yeah, really good work there. Good camera work for you to see that the bat just sliding right over the line. Getting home in time that time was Ganesh.
So ball cut away into the offside, can't score. 3 in the over so far. The tidy bowling of Kenjige continues.
Required rate now, Lenny, above 9, 9.14. Actual scoring rate is exactly a run a ball. See where Nash Kenjige releases that ball from. That time, definitely both feet behind the stumps. And he becomes, again, a really difficult bowler to size up because of all the variety. Changes things. I see that wry smile on his face because he knows that you cannot actually target him because of the number of different ways that he can change his deliveries.
And Brian, when he does that, he's trying to serve up a different loop on the ball.
Yep.
The trajectory is sometimes a little bit different because you're not bowling on 22 yards, you're bowling probably 23 yards now.
That's exactly right.
And we have seen spinner, and he's a thinking spinner, I got to tell you that, because spinners would use the crease wide or run straight. Yeah, Kenjige, he delivers from back of the crease.
Back of the stumps. 5 from the over. Halfway through the chase. 59 on the board. Another 94 to get from 10. We'll be right back.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So 10 of us gone, 59 for 4. So 94 to win from 60 balls. Halfway stage here for the East Bay Blazers. So that's the over by over chart on both teams. Blue has happened already. The red is the one of interest here, as East Bay Blazers, they need 94 to win from 60 balls. Hamad Azam will continue. And down the leg side, that's a good deflection from Rizwan. Fielder does well to prevent the boundary. Very good cricket here. But that's a good looking shot. Should have gotten probably a little bit more value for that, but because of good fielding, shot restricted to only 1.
Probably the first loose ball you see from Hamad Azam going down the leg side. And when you play that shot, you expect 4 runs. No question. But Rushilu Garkar making 10 or so yards to his right, diving and saving 3 runs for his side down there at deep fine leg.
And Brian, I gotta say, since I've been here, the feeling has really been good from all of the teams. Lofted into the offside, couple of runs here on tap. And Ganesh will pick up 2 more. That's a good deliberate shot, trying to clear the infield. And he picks up a couple of runs, 33-run partnership.
Partnership really building, but it's the stage of the innings where you absolutely need to start scoring quickly. Again, you don't have to hit 4s and 6s, but you want to see urgency between the wickets. You've seen that so far with the first or the last 2 balls of this over.
Oh, that's a lovely strike. Not at all. Straight into the hands of mid-wicket. And Aditya Ganesh is gone. He's gone for 9. Is 62 for 5.
Well, straight down the throat of the substitute fielder again, Rishi Ramesh. He's absolutely having a good day in the field since he came onto the pitch. It's whipped in the air off of his hips again there. Not necessarily a bad shot, but only managing to pick out on the boundary Rishi Ramesh. Again, the wind is coming in from that direction. So if you hit the ball in the air in that direction, the wind will help to hold that ball up. That's exactly what happened there. And the ball only landing in the safe hands of, again, the USA U19 captain. 5 wickets down now. The score is 62 for 5. So the new batter is Vikash Mohan. Vikash Mohan at the wicket because of a clean catch taken at deep mid-wicket by Rishi Ramesh to dismiss Aditya Ganesh, the wicket-keeper batter. So now we have 2 right-handers at the crease, and that simplifies things for the bowling side.
Yeah, Aditya Ganesh, first failure in this phase. We saw him getting 33 and 59, and he got was only able to get 9 today. Vikash Mohan, who's been among the runs for the Blazers, and he comes in here with 91 still needed from 57 balls. Hamad Azam has picked up his first wicket. And Brian, like anything else, nothing stalls. Nothing stalls progress. As when wicket falls into the offside and they scamper through for 1. Good running.
Good running, but it is generally not a smart idea to take quick singles on the arms of either Nush Kenjige or Ali Sheikh. They're both really good in that backward point area, and Nush very often hits from that exact position.
And Brian, we've seen 2.5 days of cricket so far, and we have seen some real good direct hits.
Yes.
And I would want to think that 90% of those direct hits were given out.
I would think you're exactly right.
So ball eased into the offside. Another single here for Rizwan. Coming up next on this field, the Philadelphians, they will take on the Lightning. Very important game for the Philadelphians. If they win, they could throw up some scenarios in the still undecided Atlantic Conference winner. .89 to win from 55 here. That run rate is edging towards 10 and over.
Bang on target, the captain. Good delivery to close things out in the over number 11. 6 runs coming from that over. Hamad Azam's 3 overs have only cost him 12 runs, and he's taken a wicket. Excellent bowling by the captain. 65 for 5, another 88 needed off 9.
So 11 overs gone, 65 for 5. And Brian, keep your win predictor on. I hope you're running it. And now I'll go over to you. The last time I spoke, The last time we spoke, you said 57. I'm pretty sure that has gone up a couple of notches.
It has gone up a couple notches. I would put it at $63. It is by no means a done deal, and if there's a man at the other end of the wicket with a bat in his hand, he can score runs. That's the name of the game.
So Vikash Mohan on strike, and Jige has gone for 5 per over. He's bowled 2 for 10. And we come down to the last 88 runs to win, 54 balls on 5 wickets. One of 3 ways this game could come to an end, and a winner decided. We came into this morning with this game being the deciding game to settle the score as to who will go from the Pacific Conference.
Ali Sheikh doing what Ali Sheikh does. You cannot get that ball past Ali Sheikh, whether to his left or his right. Constantly seeing him at that backward point position. And again, just a tremendous fielder. He's going to be very difficult to get past.
And Brian, when you look at players like Ali Sheikh, how much experience and information he would have been part of the majors, although he didn't play, but what an experience for players like them.
What an experience. And bear in mind, Ali Sheikh would have qualified as a U21 player, but he was not drafted into the major leagues in the U21 spot. He was drafted in oh my goodness, I'll say more about that in a second, because Nash Kenjige has just found the middle stump of Rizwan's guard, and all of a sudden 31 from 21, 1 4 and 2 sixes, but that is the end of Rizwan. The devil is in the details. The score is 66 for 6. Do you get that? Devil 666.
So another wicket goes down, and East Bay Blazers are under pressure here. Dallas Mustangs has struck again. Take a look at this one, giving himself room. But Kenjige is such a smart bowler. He kept it on the wicket.
Yes.
And the rest is history. He strikes the middle stump. And another wicket goes down. 6-6-6.
I have to admit, I was pretty proud of the Devils in the details. But the detail here is I don't know that Rizwan will want to see a replay of this. He backs away well into the offside, exposing all 3 of his stumps. In fact, could not reach back across in time to be able to keep that ball away from the furniture, and has it knocked out of the ground. How many times today have you seen the middle stump go for a walk? This time from the spinner, Nash Kenjige. And Hamza Tariq, the former Canadian international, is going to be asked to help chase down a total that is right now feeling like it's getting out of control. The required rate now 10.44.
So 87 to win from 50 balls, 6 down. Hamza Tariq, as Brian mentioned, the Canadian international, the wicketkeeper. Oh, swept and swept well, running up towards the fine leg area. Oh! Fielder did well to initially pull the ball back, but then body got in the way. And with a moving ball, Brian, that has gone away for 4.
Yeah, Prathamesh Parwar with the diving attempt down there actually did well to pull it back, but on the follow-through, he pulls it back with his right hand, but then his left hand knocks it over the boundary. So look at this. Look at the dive coming up from your right. Pulls it there, but then his left hand drags it over. So good piece of work to get to the ball, but not able to complete the save. 4 welcome runs for the East Bay Blazers.
So Hamza Tariq gets off the mark in good style. He brings out the switch hit. And so that will complete 12. And after 12 is 70 for 6. They still require 83 to win.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Lenny, I have a question for you. Rochelle Garker bowled 1 over, conceded 12 runs, if memory serves correctly. Captain Hamad Azam is bringing him back now. Is this a strategic decision given the 2 batters, or is it an opportunity to help rebuild the young man's confidence after you took him out of the attack for being so expensive?
So Brian, I'll go with both. 6 down, good chance for him to come back and gain that bit of confidence. And as a captain sometime, especially in a country of the US, in which you're not only, it's not only about winning, but you've got to look to the future. And if you want to look for future, building this franchise, hoping that it really form core set of people, and hoping that next year in 2024 you can retain a lot of these core players. Why not? He's a young player. So Vikash Mohan, a big swing. Oh, another direct hit. But no big appeals, so probably he's in.
Nauman Anwar with the direct hit from short cover. Yet another direct hit. But this time umpire Shane Samuel says nope. He got back across in time. Here we see on the replay, in fact, that ball didn't go where he was looking for it to go. Advancing down the track was the non-striker. Direct hit from Nauman Anwar. Let's see here. He just got it back inside the line. That's a good piece of fielding and a good piece of umpiring by umpire Shane Samuel.
So 83 to win from 47, asking over 10 runs and over, heading towards 11. Vikash Mohan on strike. Oh, that's a good strike. That's a lovely strike from Vikash Mohan. Oh, fielded as well.
Oh.
Keeps the ball in play, nearly take the catch, and in the end.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. He saves 5 runs for his side.
So a couple of runs
they ran
here.
2, apologies. He saves 4 runs for his side. Athletic piece of fielding by Ali Sheikh. Look at this replay here. Ball skied in the air. He's back on the rope, jumps up and palms it and throws it back in. Didn't quite see it there on the replay, but a brilliant piece of work by Ali Sheikh. Skied. And gone. My goodness, the young man brought back into the attack. First, he was helped out from conceding a 6 by Ali Sheikh, and then takes a wicket with the very next ball. 7 wickets down for 70. Make that 72.
So it's Dallas Mustangs all the way. Still 81 to win. Take a look at this one. Trying to attack Vikash Mohan. He has no way out. And you've got to compliment Rochelle here. Had to wait a long time. Call for the catch. And executed well. Cotton bowl off the bowling of Rochelle Ugarkar. So he's picked up his first wicket. He's bowling at 1 for 14. And Brian, Ugarkar has been part of this bowling unit during the course of this season. So
Yes.
it's not a surprise that he's been given the ball and really come into the attack. He's been part of what the Dallas Mustang has really been about this year in 2023.
Not only has he been part of the bowling attack, he's opened the bowling on a number of occasions. So he's a good young bowler, quick enough, and I think I said earlier he's sometimes guilty of bowling too short, and I think you've seen some evidence of that. But when he gets it right, he's a genuinely good bowler. The second thing is the ball went in the air for a really long time. Generally, if it's in the air for that long, you would think the keeper would be the one who would come across and take that. But in the absence of the keeper being close by, you know the bowler is not going to drop his own catch, and he pouches it so easily, so another wicket goes down. 72 for 7, and this game is feeling like it's starting to slip away from the East Bay Blazers.
So Parrot Car comes to the middle, 81 to win, but they are in trouble of getting bowled out. 7 gone. And so they're batting a 72 for 7. 3 ways this game could come to an end, Brian. And I'll ask you which one looks to be the more applicable one here. And this one is defended into the onside. So 3 ways, 3 wickets to fall. 81 to win. and 44 balls to go. Which one you think may come first?
Well, you asked me a couple of deliveries ago about my win predictor. Then I think I said 63. Well, we're up to in the 80s now. We're in the 80s. 85 Dallas is what I would think.
So a bit of an inside edge onto the pad. And Brian, what is it, 83?
83.
Where is that 7?
Where is 17 coming from? The fact that there are batters at the crease with bats in their hands. You can throw your bat and anything can happen. So cricket is more a batter's game than a bowler's game. So that's why I'm saying it's still 83.
So a couple of runs in this over. Parrot car and strike.
Oh, make that 89. How about that? Not able to control that ball, Paradkar only succeeding in fending a lifting delivery straight into the safe hands of Andreas House with the gloves on. Wicket number 8 goes down. What an over bowled here by Rusha Lugarka. There you see that ball kissing the outside edge, not able to hold it down. And one of the simpler catches that you'll ever see Andreas House take. That is the end of over number 13. 7 overs to go. We may not need all 7. The score is 72 for 8.
So Hamza Tariq will be on strike. 8 down. We'll have to wait and see who has been given the ball, Brian, but it looks like it's curtains down for the East Bay Blazers.
Yeah, Ali Sheikh for the first time with the ball in hand, and he will be asked to continue doing exactly what Nash Kenjige started with. Left arm spin that is difficult to get away.
So we saw during the 2021 season, East Bay Blazers, they were the number 3 team. We saw in 2022 similar position. They were still the number 3 teams in terms of points. But this year in 2023, they got the most points in that category as Hamza Tariq plays and misses.
Ali Sheikh with the ball in hand. Starting out here. Advancing down the track. That is a good strike. That goes all the way for 6. I'll tell you what, all is not lost. I'll tell you what, that's great work. Advancing down the track and slapping that one over the top of long off for the 4th 6 of the innings.
Yeah, big strike here from Hamza Tariq. A lovely strike, and so that will bring the equation down to 75 to win from 40 balls.
Well, that's why when you asked me why is it not at 100, the reality is that there are 2 batters at the wicket. In fact, the 2 batters at the wicket now have both played international cricket. Rusty Theron for South Africa and Hamza Tariq for Canada. So, you know, they've been in difficult situations before. So Ali Sheikh is going to have to be careful here.
So ball not timed well. A loopy ball, short ball, and Hamza Tariq picks up a single. And surprisingly, Brian, when you look at the Blazers side, I'm surprised that they had included in their roster, and both of them would have played, Hamza Tariq and Wijaratne, 2 Canadian international wicketkeeper. Do you need 2?
Do you need 2? Well, Hamza Tariq, he's been a keeper in the past, but you saw how good he is in the outfield. So you don't necessarily need to think of him as a keeper. Just think of him as somebody with a good pair of hands, whether or not he has gloves on.
So Wijaratne has made the Bermuda trip. And I've seen a couple of weeks ago that Hamza Tariq would have played a tournament in New York. And he played with a team that really needed a keeper, so on that occasion he kept. But like you rightly mentioned, maybe plays at a lower order batter. Catching has always been safe. We saw yesterday taking a wonderful catch inches away from the rope.
Yep.
Rusty Tehran comes in to strike. 9 in this over from Ali Sheikh. And ball worked into the onside, so that will complete the 14th over. So 14 gone, they're batting at 82 for 8, 71 needed.
What's up, Doug?
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So Rochelle Ugarka will continue. 2 for 14 from the young man Brian Walters. And Brian, as we come probably towards the end here, to see what has happened from the Pacific Conference and their winner. Still to be played, the Atlantic Conference. Big game certainly for the Atlanta Fire as they take on Cavaliers in the 2 o'clock slot.
It is going to be interesting. That game, of course, has tremendous ramifications for what happens toward the back end of this tournament, specifically with regard to who's going to be representing the Atlantic Conference on Sunday in Grand Prairie. Not quite done here yet, though.
And Aman Patel and Nikhil Uttamchandani will call that one. And we'll be with the Philadelphians on Lightning game.
Single here by Rusty Tehran. 3 from 3. Hamza Tariq 12 from 6. The required rate now up to exactly 2 runs a ball. You need 37, or you need 70 runs from 35 balls. So essentially, for the rest of the match, you need to score 2 runs off of every ball on average to be able to win this, with 2 wickets in hand. So it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, that's a good-looking shot from Hamza Tariq. Pulled it into the onside and finds a vacant area, and he picks up a boundary. Good-looking shot from Hamza Tariq.
Yeah. Looking to slap that over mid-wicket, I think. A thick under edge, and the ball races down to deep fine leg. Yeah, looking more to play that in front of square, but you'll take these runs anywhere you can get them. Hamza Tariq being very enterprising. Of course, you only have one choice from here. You can only swing for the fences. Now, what I want to see from Rochelle Ugarka is just do something like bowl a full and straight one right at the base of leg stump, because he's obviously swinging. He's looking for that ball to be rising off the bounce. He's looking to elevate that ball over the leg side. And the way you counteract that is just go absolutely full and absolutely straight. Force him to play down the ground and on the ground if possible. But if you're bowling a length that allows him to get under it, that's where you'll get into trouble.
So 66 to win from 34. Asking 11.6. And Brian, when you look at the East Bay Blazers having posted runs in 2 games, I'm going to be honest, I thought they should have batted. Regardless.
Really? Tell me why. That is interesting.
Regardless of the conditions this morning, you'll probably want to take your chance from what your strength has been in the last 2 days. Now, there's always preparation residue on any pitch when you start the day. Isn't that why many test teams, they win and they try to rally that first hour, the first couple of hours, realizing it may work for the bowlers for a bit, But what happens after that? Here is
Well,
Ugarka. Oh,
Yeah.
hammered into the onside. That's gone a long way. And Hamza Tariq has come up with a different plan, and he is not giving up. 10 in 2 balls from him.
Has to be full and straight. Has to be much, much fuller than that. That ball on that length is going to get hammered. Here's Rushil Ugarka again, coming up and pitching it that's just way too short at this stage of the innings, at really any stage of any innings. From that length, you are going to get hammered. And again, make him drive you straight down the ground. If you give him the leverage to play that shot, these are international quality batters who've been around the block once or twice. You have to be much, much fuller than that. I'd prefer to see a low full toss at this stage rather than that type of length.
And Brian, just coming back to the pitch at the start of the day, water and soil are the most important thing in pitch preparation. You have to expect some dampness in any game when you get to the morning of pitches. And by the way, East Bay Blazers batted first on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
I would have taken my chance batting first.
That's what he needs to do. That is the ball right there. That's what I've been begging for.
So 12 off this over. This has been a very good over here for the East Bay Blazers. We've seen a couple of big shots in this over from Hamza Tariq, and he's not done. And they need 51, 59 from 32 ball. Rusty Tehran. Can he take a few across or over the rope? We'll have to wait and see. Here is Rushil Ugarka, runs in. Tehran.
Is that a catch?
It's a big appeal. I think the big concern whether it carried to Andre's house. And having checked with Brian Kane, I think the finger has gone up.
Ah, so clearly an edge and a great take by Andreas House. But the issue is both umpires needed to be convinced, particularly the umpire Brian Kane at square leg, that that ball carried directly into the glove of Andreas House.
And,
so,
and Brian, we'll probably ask our director, Roddy Lalman, if he can, while we have some time, to zoom in on Brian Kane, who carries a recording camera. When he does umpiring, he does a lot of work in New York, and I've seen him with a bit of a harness on his chest, and he carries. We'll take a look at the replay here. And the question was whether it carried.
So the reason why, from that angle, we can see it clearly goes in. Goes in, it's probably a foot off the ground. And here we see Brian Kane with his GoPro on his chest. That is good work by the cameraman and by Roddy Lalman in the production area with SC Tech and Productions. But back to the point, the only reason why Rushain Samuels was not able to see where that ball went was that he was shielded, because the keeper is going to his left. And in going to his left to complete that catch, he would have been shielded, the umpire, by the batter himself. So he was not able to see whether or not that ball carried directly in. But that's a good pairing of those two umpires to make that right decision.
So Carmi LaRue comes out 3 for 26 so far from Rushil Ugarka. The over comes to an end, and 15 gone. It's 94 for 9.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So welcome back, Brian. 30 balls remaining, 59 to get. But it looks like Dallas Mustang will punch their ticket for Sunday championship game. So Ali Sheikh continue. Hamza Tariq, he's played a good hand, 23, but it looks like it won't be enough.
Hamza Tariq, 23 from 10, so he's had fun hitting the ball, but looking down the barrel here are the East Bay Blazers. 59 needed. Reverse sweep being attempted. Look at this.
And
not a bad option with 2 men behind point inside the circle. If you get it between those 2, that's an easy 4 runs.
So they need 59 from 28 balls, Brian, and in August. So that's a good strike from Hamza Tariq. He's picked it up well, straight over long on, and that has gone for a maximum 53 to win.
53 to win. That stroke brings up the 100, by the way. So another 53 runs if you're the optimistic type and an East Bay Blazers supporter. Ali Sheikh from around the wicket, lobbed up, and I have to say that's in the drive. You want to pull that length back just a little bit, and maybe that line needs to be more outside the line of off stump.
So Brian, in August for this year's minor league in 2023, somewhat 21 teams made it to the starting line. 20 plus team.
26.
26th. And so we come down. We came here this week for this phase of the Super 8, and as the name suggests, the last 8 or the Super 8, and every passing round we've seen from Wednesday, Thursday, and now we're beginning to see teams falling away, and it comes down to a handful of teams with just one more round to go at 2 o'clock.
Well, once again, speaking of win predictors, my win predictor is now up to 93, I would think. Not over yet. Ali Sheikh got taken downtown for a big 6. Oh, now it's over. Ali Sheikh, interestingly, pointing down the ground to Roman Ray. So apparently they had a plan to go wide and full. Gets that ball away from Hamza Tariq, and completing a clean stumping is Andreas Haus. The win predictor is now at 100, Lenny. We'll see the replay here. This ball is tossed wide. Look at this. And advancing down the wicket. The cleanest of stumpings. And there you see Ali Sheikh turn and point to Roman Reis. That seems to me like a plan that came into play, because that's exactly what that appears to be. A clean and easy victory by the small margin of 52 runs for the dominant Dallas Mustangs.
Yes, Brian, very clinical. So they punched their ticket to the final. And what an impressive year they've had. They've won all their 3 games in this phase. And there we go. We saw a fighting 31 from Rizwan and a fighting 29 from Hamza Tariq. Other than that, the fast bowler earlier on, a couple of big strikes from Isan Adil and Roman Reyes. Roman Reyes may have started that slide, and in the end, they fall 52 runs short of their intended target.
Yeah, no question. And as you mentioned,
So top of the order, wickets for everyone at the top. Roman Reyes, Isan Adil, and 3 for Rochelle Yogarkar. So there you have it, folks. The news: Dallas Mustangs have advanced to the final, and that's your match summary for you. Nauman Anwar, highest individual score of this game, 89 from 61 balls. Andres House, 14. Kenjige, 13. And then, of course, in reply, East Bay Blazers led by Rizwan, who got 31. We've seen good bowling from Rochelle Yogarkar, 3 for 26. So the news out at field number 1 at Prairie View is that Dallas Mustangs has made it through to the final. And we've got one more match here for the day on field number 1. The Philadelphians will come up against the Atlanta Lightning. We'll take a short break and resume when cricket does so at field number 1.
Oh, my goodness.
So David White is cleaned up, middle stump knocked out of the ground.
Percent is good enough.
Oh, cut away. That's a lovely shot from Sandrik Krishnamurti.
Well, that 4 feet is not showing up. Hammered down the ground for 4. Couple of bounces over the top of mid-on. Roman Reyes starts out here, conceding a...
Oh, lofted in the air. He's in danger here. In the end, a well-judged catch.
And Ali Sheikh.
Flicked into the onside. Fielder comes in, takes the... And that's a lovely shot over the infield, and that will go away for 4. So a lovely shot from Rizwan. It's 21 for 3. Oh, lofted up and over. That's a lovely shot from Angelo Pereira. Isan Adil flicked away straight into the hands of Sean.
Coming in next. Gets away this one. Oh, in fact, it goes all the way for 6. Goes all the way. Ideal for Isan Adil.
Oh, pulled away short and hammered over the backward square. Oh, that's a lovely strike. Not at all. Straight into the hands of mid-wicket.
He was drafted in the oh my goodness, I'll say more about that in a second, because Nash Kenjige has just...
Oh, swept and swept well, running up towards the fine leg area.
Oh!
Fielder did well to...
Ali Sheikh. Skied. And gone. My good. Oh. Make that 8 in. Advancing down the track. That is a good strike. That goes all the way for 6. I'll tell you what, all is not.
Oh, that's a good looking shot from Hamza Tariq. Pulled it into the Ugarka. Oh, yeah. Hammered into the onside. That's gone a long way. And Hamza Tariq. Tehran.
Is that a catch?
It's a big appeal. I think the big concern whether it carried to Andre's house. And having checked with Brian Kane, I think in August. So that's a good strike from Hamza Tariq. He's picked it up well, straight over long on.
Got taken downtown for a big 6. Oh, now it's over.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.